And don't forget, it's ABBA's all-time greatest hits on ITV1 tonight at 9.
Higher stamp prices and fewer deliveries. Will the new year bring in new problems for the post? Hello, good morning. This is the News Hour on GMTV.
It is 6 o'clock. It's Tuesday, the 20th of December, 2005.
On the programme this morning, with a £4 billion pensions deficit and underinvestment, there are fears that Royal Mail deliveries to every address in Britain could be threatened by opening up the postal service to competition. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
Also this hour, we're sorry and it won't happen again. A hospital's apology after maggots are found on a patient's face in its intensive care ward. We're going to be talking to the woman who made the discovery in 10 minutes' time.
Also this morning, bringing Christmas to Basra, we have a special report with our troops on the front line in Iraq.
And all the news from the most glamorous stag party in town.
Yes, we were there too. Well, somebody was there, wasn't us, was it?
It wasn't us, no, we were well tucked up in bed, weren't we, John?
Sorry?
We were. Maybe not you from that response. Claire's here with the weather picture now.
Sharp as a cream bun, isn't she? Sharp as a cream bun.
Morning, Claire.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Mist and fog in the south today, only slowly clearing. Some brighter spells in the east, but in the west we're seeing more in the way of cloud. Through the day, the cloud thickening, particularly across the far northwest of Scotland, where some more persistent rain will be coming in later. Rather windy here, and temperatures, well, nothing to write home about. I'll be back in around 25 minutes. John.
Thank you very much indeed, Claire. Our top story this morning, there are fears this morning that postal deliveries, for some of us anyway, could become a thing of the past. That's because in just over a week's time, the Royal Mail will face competition and might not be able to afford to run the service it does now. And that's got some MPs rather worried, as we'll be finding out a little bit later on. Right now, Rachel Harrison is at one of the biggest sorting offices in the world, Mount Pleasant, here in London. Rachel.
Yes, good morning. Well, it's officially the last day you can post a first-class letter, and while the Royal Mail struggles to cope with one of the busiest times of the year in the new year, it may also be struggling to survive. Postcom, the office watchdog, has stripped the Royal Mail of its 350-year monopoly, and from January the 1st, it will open up the market to other licensed operators. It says it will improve the state of the nation's postal service as well as improve reliability, but not everyone agrees. A group of senior MPs believe that we could see a 20% increase in the price of a stamp, and state that the Royal Mail may not in the future be able to afford to deliver to every single address in the country because it's simply just not affordable. Now, it comes at a really bad time for the Royal Mail. They've already had to put up the price of a stamp. They're struggling to cope with the £4 billion deficit in pensions, but it's not all bad news because Postwatch say the MP's claims are unfounded. They say that the Royal Mail has coped with competition in the past and it will cope in the future.
Rachel, for the time being, thanks very much indeed.
We're going to get the rest of the news you're waking up to now. Here's Rouge.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning. At least 19 people were killed when a seaplane crashed off the coast of Miami in Florida last night. Witnesses report seeing an explosion before the aircraft carrying 20 passengers and crew plunged into the sea close to Miami Beach. Private boats and jet skis helped rescuers recover bodies from the water. Investigations into the cause of the accident are continuing. The baby son of the former EastEnders star Elaine Lorden has died. It's only a few days since James Emanuel's first birthday and his parents' wedding. A spokesman for Elaine said James's death was totally unexpected. Although he'd been born with a defective diaphragm which stopped his lungs developing properly, his parents thought he was over the worst. They are said to be distraught. There's good news for the new Conservative Party leader, David Cameron, this morning. For the first time in more than a decade, one polling organisation has put his party ahead of Labour. The ICM poll, published in the Guardian newspaper, puts the Conservatives at 38%, Labour 37% and the Lib Dems at 21%. Scientists are investigating the first confirmed case of a human death caused by bird flu in China. A 12-year-old girl whose family kept chickens and ducks died a week after contracting a fever. There have already been deaths in Cambodia, Indonesia, Thailand and Vietnam. At present, the virus cannot be transmitted from person to person, only from birds to humans. Scientists say they've spotted bits of the missing satellite Beagle 2, which disappeared on Mars. The £50 million probe was launched by the European Space Agency 2 years ago. It separated from its mothership and crashed on Mars on Christmas Day. Pictures from a NASA spaceship show what's believed to be sections of Beagle 2 scattered inside a small crater on the red planet. Now, one of the biggest stag do's of the year was held in London last night. Sir Elton John and his partner David Furnish tie the knot tomorrow. But first, they had a massive party to host. Kate Recordon reports, and this report contains flash photography.
If you want a glitzy occasion, you can guarantee these two will provide it. And their friends were there to make sure Elton John and David Furnish would celebrate their joint stag night in style. Gary Barlow sang them Relight My Fire. Janet Street Porter was expected to sing them a duet alongside Paul O'Grady.
I'm comparing.
Are you excited?
I'm the host on the Cock and Hen.
What are you going to be saying tonight?
Oh, what you normally say at Cock and Hens.
You're looking backwards.
No, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good night.
You're walking backwards.
Even Bill Clinton sent them a videoed congratulations message.
It's all fantastic.
The couple will tie the knot tomorrow in what will be one of England's first civil partnerships.
So this had all the makings of a very successful stag do. A room full of your friends, champagne flowing and a cracking cabaret. Kate Recordon, GMTV News.
Detectives are baffled by the mysterious disappearance of a baby penguin, believed to have been stolen from a zoo on the Isle of Wight. The pint-sized penguin, named Toga, vanished on Saturday night. His keepers at the zoo say he's too young to survive without his parents to feed him and are pleading for his safe return. Oh, it's 6 minutes past 6. I'm back in half an hour. Now it's back to Kate and John.
Thanks very much
Arouge.
indeed, Arouge. Let's take a look at the morning papers. The Guardian features that opinion poll Arouge was mentioning there, putting the Tories ahead of Labour. It's an ICM Guardian poll. That's their front page. The Telegraph reports on the pressure for a total ban on smoking in public, and that picture of Rolf Harris with his portrait of the Queen, which has caused a little bit of controversy. Personally, I think it's very nice. And on the front page of the Independent, something a lot of people would welcome, some good news. It says global warming is getting worse, Iraq is in a state of turmoil, etc., etc. But then they highlight all the good news. Democracy returns to Afghanistan, house prices are on the up again, more trains are running on time, etc., etc. A novel front page, and a very good idea.
Yes, yes, it's good at this time of year. A bit of cheery news. Looking at the front page of tabloids, though, not much cheer. They're a very sad story, actually, on most of them. But looking at this one first of all, Daily Mail, getting away with murder. We talked about this yesterday, didn't we? This is a review of sentencing for murder. It could mean that some sentences that are now considered murder could be commuted to manslaughter. Elsewhere is this story that dominates. Elaine Lorden, very, very sad. Her son dies at 1 year old. He had a condition which we're going to talk about in more detail in a moment, which she thought she was over the worst. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. She and her partner, James Manuel, got married at the weekend as well to make things even more sad. But little James, even though, as I said, they thought he was over the worst, didn't make it through. We're going to talk about that condition now, actually. Dr. Hillary is here. Now, just tell us a little bit about what he had, because it seems to me to be rather unusual.
Diaphragmatic hernia.
Yes.
This is a defect in the muscle tent which separates the thorax from the abdomen. It's a sheet of muscle which basically keeps the chest contents above the abdominal contents and separates them, and has a major involvement in breathing, so that when the diaphragm pushes downwards, it draws air into the lungs. When it's defective and the abdominal contents are pushing through a hernia, a hole in it, it affects breathing, it affects the function of the heart, and is quite a serious condition. It's common in premature babies, and I believe...
Which little James was premature, yeah.
And once the defect is there, it can have a whole range of complications. It's not all that uncommon, but as the child gets older and the abdominal contents get considerably smaller in degree, you usually expect the thing to sort itself out and improve. But
right, because I think they'd all hoped that he was over the worst a year on. Is that typical of this sort of condition?
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's usually much worse congenitally when the baby is born, and there's problems with breathing. You might have to ventilate them. You certainly have to overcome the breathing problems. But there can be complications such as infection, such as, it can affect the function of the heart. So you would expect as the child gets older for things to improve, and it's unusual for a child to get through the first year of its life and then succumb to something like a diaphragmatic hernia or its complications. So it's always a tragedy, but to lose a child at 1 is just awful.
Very, very sad indeed. And of course, we've all seen her recently on I'm a Celebrity, so I'm sure all good wishes go to her this morning. Very, very sad. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
So now is 6:10. A very good morning to you if you're just joining us. A hospital has apologised after maggots were found crawling on the face of a patient in intensive care. Marie Ellison Anjos alerted staff when she saw the maggots near a feeding tube attached to her mother's nose. Her mother, Christine Ellison, died 2 days later from a separate illness. That was back in July. Marie joins me now from her home in Gloucester. Marie, thanks very much indeed for getting up to talk to us. Why was your mother in hospital in the first place?
She was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver 5 years ago, and then she spent 5 years well, and then she picked up an infection in her stomach. So she had to go into hospital for them to treat her, yeah.
And it was on a regular visit to see your mother that you spotted this maggot. Now, I mean, I imagine you couldn't believe what you were seeing initially.
No, not at all, no. It was a real shock to see those things wiggling in my mum's nose.
Did you realise it was a maggot there and then?
Well, at first I had a look and I thought, what is that? There's something moving in my mum's nose. And I had a closer look and I could see the maggots wiggling inside her nose.
Was she aware?
And that's when I told the nurse.
Yeah.
No, she was unconscious at the time.
So she never knew about this? What was
No, she didn't know.
What was the reaction of the nursing staff when you told them?
Well, the first nurse said to me that she'd never seen something like that before, that doesn't happen here, that she had seen it abroad, but not here. And then they just took us away from my mum and put us in a waiting room, shut the door, and just kept apologising, but they were quite intimidating at the time.
Why do you say that?
Was it a closed... Well, there were about 5, 6 members of staff that I didn't know, managers, and they were all there, you know, on top of us, saying, look, we're sorry, this shouldn't have happened. And I don't know, it was a very vulnerable time for myself, but I didn't feel very nice with their apologies. And my brother also, he didn't like it either.
OK. Well, it's a horrible incident for you to have to suffer. The Gloucester Royal Hospital has issued a statement. Let me tell you what they say. They say, in fact, that we would like to offer our sincere apologies to the family of Mrs. Ellison for any distress caused by this incident. The incident was incredibly rare, and we took immediate steps to prevent it from happening again. Do you accept that?
Well, when you have a look in the newspaper and something similar has happened again, you know, you think, come on, you know, you've got to see that there is a problem there. And no matter what apology they give me, they can't take it away from my mind what my mother went through there and what I saw, you know, in her last moments, really.
Well, I'm sure that they...
And just an apology, the way they did it like that, I think they should make something more official, really.
Yeah, and I have to say...
They haven't contacted me at all.
Yeah. You haven't had any contact from them at all. And I have to say, this is not the first time this has happened. The same hospital apparently was criticised in October this year after one of its treatment rooms had to be fumigated when maggots were found feeding on a discarded sandwich. So
that's right. And that's what triggered me to bring up my story. I said, no, they got to know that it does happen and they should take better steps to avoid it happening in the future.
Well, let's hope that they...
something nice and...
Let's hope that they do now. Thank you very much indeed for getting up to talk to us, and all the very best to you.
OK, thank you.
Well, you're watching the News Hour on GMTV. This morning's headlines for you. It might be the last Christmas. Some of us get our cards through the post. MPs fear new competition for the Royal Mail could mean some deliveries having to be dropped.
There was a star-studded turnout for Sir Elton John's stag night last night. He's one of 700, or his is one of 700 gay weddings this week.
And time's running out for Toga the baby penguin, stolen from a zoo on the Isle of Wight. He's going to die if he's not reunited soon with his parents. Now, as we prepare to bed down for Christmas, as it were, lest we forget the 8,000 British servicemen and women serving in Iraq. Many thousands more children, wives, husbands and parents will all be missing loved ones this Christmas. Of course they will. Richard Gaisford is with some of them in Hereford. Good morning to you, Richard.
Yes, good morning to you, Kate. Well, it is this time of year, isn't it, that everyone just misses those people just so much. Take a look here. Here's Colin Sperling sitting there on the mantelpiece of his home. He isn't going to be back here until the summer, and he is one of 8,000 men and women who are serving out in Basra. And just recently, I went out to visit some of them. For the 8,000 servicemen and women based here in southern Iraq, there'll be no comforts of home this Christmas. This is the standard accommodation here in the desert-like conditions. But packages sent thousands of miles from home make a big difference at this time of year. And inside their tents, these rangers from the Royal Irish Regiment are making an effort to make it feel more like Christmas.
Nope, why not? Keep it to Christmas Day. Just told me on the phone.
Well, have you got the orders on you?
Oh, obviously, I'd like to be home, but it's my first Christmas away. I have to be away for at least one Christmas, so see what happens. Should be good fun, especially with all the guys.
I can get all the presents on the January sales when I get home, but yeah, I'm going to miss my family, yeah, of course I will. It's natural. But I'm with the lads, these boys are my family, you know what I mean?
Work will have to go on. Colin here is likely to find himself on guard duty on his first Christmas away.
There'll be a Christmas dinner of some sort. There'll be other stuff going on, but obviously stuff has to go on still.
Others too aren't with loved ones for the first time. This lot are all from the West Midlands and have other jobs as well as family back home. They're TA soldiers and appreciate efforts to bring a touch of Christmas to Iraq.
I've got 2 teenage daughters, so that's going to be different, but I'll cope with it and they're going to cope with it. I will make up for it when I get back. You know, Christmas will be like July time. Be a bit weird, but you know, we'll have to do that.
I think it'll be something completely different, but let's wait and see. Not sure what to expect.
The weather will certainly be different. These lads from the RAF will still be keeping things clean on Christmas Day in the knowledge that their families will all be thinking of them.
I think they still worry about it as I'm their little boy, like, but, you know, I think they'll miss me more than I'll miss them, if you know what I mean.
I'm single, but I find it quite hard being away from my family. Try to get home as often as I can. I suppose they don't want me away either, but you sign up and you realise you've got to do it, so you sort of just take it on the chin.
No sign of snow around, and yet I go around, hearing jingle bells ringing in my ear.
Well, there's 120 TA soldiers from the West Midlands currently in Basra, and these families are just representing 3 of those guys. Cheryl, we saw Colin there. Very emotional to see him, I suppose, at this time of year.
Yes, it is.
It's a long tour, isn't it? I mean, you didn't think that, in a way, he signed up for this?
No. But at the end of the day, it's a job he's got to do, so... But we miss him terrible, especially at Christmas. So,
And Rebecca and Emma up the back there. I mean, Dad said he was going to miss you. I'm guessing you're going to miss him.
Yeah, a lot.
And you're talking to him on the phone a bit, so does that help at all?
Yeah, it's really nice to talk to him.
He gets a 20-minute phone call a week, and it's just good to like hear him and see if he's okay.
Okay, well, we can see a picture here of Stuart Cottrell. Now, Julie, that's your husband. He has been away a bit before, hasn't he? But
Yes,
again, another tough tour.
Yeah, it is very much, but he'll be back.
He'll be back, and you're doing as much as you can as a group to try and stick together. Oh, it is hard, isn't it? Karen, I mean, you've got young Melissa here, two and a half. I mean, when Philip's away, your husband, it must put a huge pressure on you.
I mean, it does, of course it does, but fortunately I've got a very good family supporting me and good friends, and, you know, I feel very, very fortunate that I've got two great girls.
And, you know, he signed up for the TA, but did you ever think he would be doing longer tours of duty than perhaps the regular soldiers are doing?
No, I don't think you ever expect it. It's always there in the back of your mind, but truly when it comes, it was a shock. Yeah.
And do you think it's fair?
I think that they do have a very important job to do. It must be very fulfilling for them, and Yeah, you know, we do miss him. We miss him terribly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Ruby's got a picture of her dad here. Let's just show you. There's Phil. You're very proud of your dad, aren't you? And you miss him?
Yeah, I miss him loads, and I dare say that my friends from school miss him as well. They send him their love, and I think I'm going to miss him especially at Christmas.
Oh, well, Ruby, he'll be home soon. I think it might be Christmas in the summer, though. What do you think? Be all right? OK. Back to you guys.
Ruby, thanks very much.
Oh, very full, very emotional, isn't it?
Yeah. Very aware that their dads are doing a great job out there, as
Yeah.
indeed are all the rest of our troops. Still to come on the news hour, the last post, well, almost. Can we look forward to higher stamp prices and fewer mail deliveries after January the 1st?
And Hollywood's hottest star, Scarlet Johansson, tells us why she's still a down-to-earth kind of girl.
I still ride the subway in New York, and I will still wait online for a cheeseburger like everybody else. I don't expect, you know, any kind of treatment.
Well, right now, another message from our boys and girls on the front line in Basra.
I'm Michael Henricus. I'd like to wish my family, especially Kimberly Henricus and my two gorgeous daughters, Megan and Olivia, a very Merry Christmas, and all the rest of the family. Take care, and I'll see you very soon.
Welcome back to the news. Our time, 22 minutes past 6 now then. She's one of Hollywood's hottest stars and Woody Allen's latest chum. Scarlett Johansson was back in London to promote her latest film, and Andrew Castle, lucky lad, got to meet her as she celebrated her nomination for Best Supporting Actress in the Golden Globes.
Loved the film, so thank you very, very much. Were you pleased with the final result yourself?
I was, yeah, I really was. It's hard when you work with Woody because you don't know, you know, when you're shooting, he doesn't use a monitor and he doesn't have video playback and all those wonderful, helpful things for any kind of, you know, paranoid actor. But so you just never know what even your character looks like or how the film looks.
Oh my God, it's huge. We're going to get lost in here.
This is a brilliantly observed film about the upper classes in Britain. How much did you and Woody know about the upper classes?
I'm from Manhattan, and you know, the script was originally written for New York, and I think the class system is quite comparable, actually. I mean, whether it's someone living in Kensington, having a house in the country, or in New York, somebody on the Upper East Side with a house in the Hamptons, it's sort of the same kind of bubble that this upper class society lives in.
Scarlett, you're a city girl, that's clear, but would you ever live in the countryside?
I don't know if I could live there permanently now. It's nice for a weekend, but I need that crazy kinetic energy of a city like London. I think I would feel just scared to go to the kitchen by myself at night, even though it's totally empty and desolate, and probably the only thing you'll find is somebody trying to sell you, you know, cheese or something. I don't know, maybe that's not true.
It does happen.
I think it's scary to be out there, and you know, there's nature, you're surrounded by nature.
And what about filming in London, filming in the United Kingdom? I mean, is it easier for you to be here? Do you get hassled like you do in the States?
I live pretty easily in either London or New York.
So you don't have to hide under a big stupid hat or anything like that here?
A hat helps, actually. It really will make the day go a little bit easier, just to be, you know, not to kind of be like, here I am.
Yeah.
It really is me. It doesn't just look like me.
It's not a lifestyle anyone would actually choose, is it?
There's wonderful things about being successful. I mean, I'm not complaining, you know, but there's adjustments that you have to make to your life. I mean, I still ride the subway in New York, and I will still wait online for a cheeseburger like everybody else. I don't expect, you know, any kind of treatment. And at the same time, you know, you can't let that, you know, pull paparazzi thing control your life. I mean, then they've kind of got you.
Finally, with Jonathan, somebody of your own age to romp around with instead of middle-aged men.
I have a young, studly man in the film.
And didn't he do well?
Yes, it was, I have to say, people were saying, you know, that looked really rough. You must have been freezing in the rain and everything. You're making this crazy, passionate love scene. And I was like, yeah, but it's with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Next, it's going to be somebody with a social security kind of card. Yeah, that's...
65 plus only.
65 plus only may you know, you can inquire here for... Yeah, apply, inquire about job positions.
Okay, well, I'll have to wait.
Yeah.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you too.
She seems nice. We
Very
like her.
nice. Very nice lady.
Now, still to come this morning, postal politics, why MPs fear the Royal Mail may not be able to deliver under proposals for new regulations.
But first, let's catch up on the weather. Pretty parky where I live this morning. Let's hear some more details from Claire.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. Yes, clear spells overnight have led to some mist and fog and temperatures plummeting. But today, temperatures, well, I'd say on the mild side, particularly across northern parts of the country. You see this massive cloud coming in. It's going to bring some rain to western Scotland later on today. But generally speaking, there's just bits and pieces of cloud, and that means quite a dull day for many areas. This morning, then, you can see where the mist and fog is. It's down across southern areas of England and Wales. The rest of any brightness will be across the eastern side of the country, where it will always be through today. Thickening cloud across more western parts. So fairly nondescript weather right the way through this morning and also this afternoon. Let's have a look and see what's happening across Scotland. Scotland through this afternoon, we're seeing more in the way of clouds come in, particularly across the Western Isles, western parts of the mainland, and that's then gradually moving in across to Caithness as well as the Highlands. Aberdeenshire, places like Fraserburgh getting away with some brighter weather. More in the way of cloud, though, are for the far north, Northern Isles. Temperatures, look at those, 10 degrees Celsius, not too bad at all. Mild, in fact, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Heading further south, there is a chance of 1 or 2 spots of rain, particularly across Northern Ireland. And then for the Isle of Man, a lot of cloud. Cloud for the border regions. That's away from this region here, down towards Northumbria as well as Yorkshire, where you could get away with some brighter spells later on. Cleveland getting away with perhaps some brighter weather. For western areas of Wales, that's where we're expecting more in the way of cloud, but heading over the Welsh mountains, places such as Shropshire, Cheshire, getting away with perhaps some, well, blue sky from time to time. Cloud for the Midlands, and then again, could see a hint of sunshine across East Anglia. Temperatures here struggling after quite a chilly start because of the clear spells. The mist and fog could linger across places such as Sussex, as well as Hampshire through the day, as well as Kent, heading across to central southern England down towards the West Country. That's again where we could see some brighter weather, more in the way of cloud for Cornwall as well as Devon. Some brighter weather though for the Channel Islands. Wednesday into Thursday, cloud and rain comes in, turns quite windy across the north, and in the south mostly dry with a bit of sunshine. Watch out again for the mist and fog. This is Friday, again that cloud sinks its way southwards. A rather cloudy day on Christmas Eve, some sunshine for the north, and this is the weather for Christmas Day. Again, still no snow. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
Hello, good morning. It's 28 minutes past 6 on Tuesday, the 20th of December.
And you are watching the News Hour on GMTV. Now, in the next half hour, will the new year bring in new problems for the post? We're going to be finding out why senior MPs believe Royal Mail deliveries to every address in Britain could be under threat.
And bigger and brighter, but is it any better? Crossing stateside in 20 minutes to see how our American cousins are lighting up New York for Christmas.
I tell you, that doesn't look that dramatic when you think of
I'm sure could
some
it.
of
We'll
the
reveal more.
Oh, OK, all right. Now, our top story this morning. There are fears that postal deliveries for some of us could become a thing of the past. That's because in just over a week's time, the Royal Mail will face competition and might not be able to afford to run the service it does now. Rachel Harrison is at one of the biggest sorting offices in the world, Mount Pleasant in London. Morning to you, Rachel.
Yes, good morning. Well, it's officially the last day you can post a first-class letter, and while the Royal Mail struggles to cope with one of the busiest times of the year in the new year, it may also be struggling to survive. Postcom, the office watchdog, has stripped the Royal Mail of its 350-year monopoly, and from January the 1st, it will open up the market to other licensed operators. It says it will improve the state of the nation's postal service as well as improve reliability, but not everyone agrees. A group of senior MPs believe that we could see a 20% increase in the price of a stamp, and state that the Royal Mail may not in the future be able to afford to deliver to every single address in the country because it's simply just not affordable. That comes at a really bad time for the Royal Mail. They've already had to put up the price of a stamp. They're struggling to cope with the £4 billion deficit in pensions, but it's not all bad news because Postwatch say the MP's claims are unfounded. They say that the Royal Mail has coped with competition in the past and it will cope in the future.
OK, Rach, thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Let's catch up on the rest of the news. Here's Arouge.
Thanks, John. Good morning. Many more people could be charged with manslaughter instead of murder under new proposals being put forward today. It's the first review of murder laws for more than 50 years. The Law Commission is thinking of bringing in an American-style system with different levels, such as Murder 1 and Murder 2. At least 19 people were killed when a seaplane crashed off the coast of Miami in Florida last night. Witnesses report seeing an explosion before the aircraft carrying 20 passengers and crew plunged into the sea close to Miami Beach. Private boats and skis helped rescuers recover bodies from the water. Investigations into the cause of the accident are continuing. The baby son of the former EastEnders star Elaine Lorden has died. It's only a few days since James Manuel's first birthday and his parents' wedding. A spokesman for Elaine said James's death was totally unexpected. Although he'd been born with a defective diaphragm which stopped his lungs developing properly, his parents thought he was over the worst. They are said to be distraught. The Great Mars Mystery has been solved. Scientists say they've spotted bits of the missing British probe Beagle 2, which disappeared 2 years ago. The £50 million craft was launched by the European Space Mission amid huge publicity. Pictures from the NASA spaceship show bits of the Beagle scattered inside a crater on the red planet. One of the biggest stag do's of the year was held in London last night. Sir Elton John and his partner David Furnish tie the knot tomorrow. But first, they had a massive party to host. Detectives are baffled by the mysterious disappearance of a baby penguin believed to have been stolen from a zoo in the Isle of Wight. His keepers say 4-month-old Toga is too young to survive without his parents to feed him. Nick Dixon reports.
A pint-sized penguin has vanished without a trace. Toga's family have been watching out for him since he was taken from the Amazon World Zoo on Saturday night.
Unfortunately, he's still being fed by his parents, so it's very, very important that we get him back as soon as possible. He won't survive and he won't allow anybody to actually feed him.
Toga is the first jackass penguin to be bred at the zoo. He's 4 months old, about 12 inches tall, weighs just 10 pounds and still has his baby brown and white colouring. Staff at the zoo are begging the thieves to bring him home, as without his mum and dad to look after him, he might not make it till Christmas.
Aww. It's now 6:33. The next news is at 7. Now it's back to John and Kate.
Thanks very much indeed, Rouge. Competition time now. We're giving you the chance to win £10,000.
Yes, we are. Here is that man with the details, Keith Chegwin.
You're a £10,000 winner.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh. We've got £10,000 for you to win every day this week in time for Christmas, to spend on whatever you like. So here's the question you need to answer.
10,000 quid, she's a winner.
St. Stephen's Day, December the 26th, is better known as A, Boxing Day, B, New Year's Eve, or C, Valentine's Day.
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Lines are open till 9 o'clock this morning, so good luck and get dialing.
Thanks, Cheggers. Now, we want to tell you about another way to watch a TV. GMTV is the first major British TV programme to broadcast live on a mobile phone. 3 of the big mobile operators now offer GMTV every morning on their new 3G services.
Yeah, Vodafone, Orange and the 3 network are all showing live pictures that you can take us with you on your way to work or college. How wonderful, you might think. Each phone operator has different costs and conditions, which you can check on our website, gm.tv, or talk to your operator directly. It means you won't miss your bus now.
Exactly.
Having to wait and hear what John Stapleton has to say to you in the morning.
And here's what the new 3G phones actually look like. A slightly bigger screen than the others, but all the better to see us with, of course, and that's GMTV on your mobile, broadcasting first.
Well, there you go. Now, here's what's happening where you are this morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast news from ITV Granada. The hunt's continuing for a toddler who's been snatched from her foster parents by her real mother. 2-year-old Cora Boyd was taken from the Stonehouse Resource Centre on St Helens Road in Lee last Friday. Detectives believe she's with 21-year-old Rebecca Bushell. She was last spotted in the Abram area of Wigan, 5 miles away. Now, with the festive season in full swing and Hogmanay just around the corner, many of you will be stocking up with your favourite Scottish tipple. And as any connoisseur will tell you, there's no Scotch like that distilled north of the border. But as Phil Gornell reports, that may be about to change.
Though the idea may make many a Scotsman shudder,
Staveley near Kendal may soon be the new home of the amber fluid. A new distillery in the village is the brainchild of Scottish entrepreneur Andrew Curry. He launched his first distillery north of the border 10 years ago. Now he's determined to try his hand in the Lake District, the River Kent, its unique attraction.
It is the water. This is England's fastest flowing river. 2 years ago I was tasting water in a hotel, spring source, and I thought this is fantastic water. So I looked around and I saw the mountains. I realised very similar geography to Scotland, to the Isle of Arran where I was based at that time. We had the water analysed. It's precisely the right pH value to make great whisky, and this is water that deserves to be turned into England's first malt whisky.
If everything goes according to plan, the first bottles of Lakeland single malt will hit the market in 5 years' time.
On to sport, and the countdown is underway for the crunch match between Bolton Wanderers and Wigan in tonight's Carling Cup clash at the JJB Stadium. The stakes couldn't be higher, with a semi-final place up for grabs. But Wigan manager Paul Jewell is under no illusion about the scale of the task his team faces.
A difficult game. Bolton, I mean, Sam is making Bolton now one of the top 5-6 teams in the country. A lot's been said of the way they play and this, that and the other. I think it's a fantastic achievement for Sam to have done what he's done. And, you know, what people don't realise, they've got some top players there. When I say people don't realise, some people don't give them enough credit. They've got top players and they get top results.
That's it for now. I'm back at 7:05. Time now for a look at the region's weather.
Pantene Pro V Winter Rescue. Forecasting a great hair day, whatever the weather.
A cloudy start with some sunny spells, becoming increasingly overcast later, but it should stay dry all day. Top temperature of 7 Celsius, so it will feel a little colder than it did yesterday.
Let's have a quick look at your papers this morning. The Guardian has this: Labour's run out of steam, says voters. This is an ICM poll for The Guardian, which puts the Conservatives ahead of Labour for the first time for 5 years, since 2000. And it says, indicates that 2/3 of voters think that the Labour Party's run out of steam. Pressure for a total ban on smoking in public. It looks increasingly likely after a Commons committee said that it would be very, very difficult to put the partial plan into place. And this is Rolf Harris with his portrait of the Queen, and we're all wondering what moment he said, can you guess what it is yet, to the Queen, as he was sketching her. The Independent. Now for some good news. This is a good Christmas idea for the front page. Global warming getting worse, and they detail all the bad news and then put the good news as well. House prices on the rise and more trains running on time, things like that. But elsewhere in the tabloids, certainly, this very sad story dominates. Elaine Lorden of EastEnders, used to be in EastEnders, and of course we saw her recently on I'm a Celebrity. Her little boy, James, who's 1 year old, has died very, very sadly of a condition that they thought he'd recover from.
Time now 21 minutes to 7. Daily postal deliveries could be a thing of the past under sweeping plans to open the service to competition. From January the 1st, private firms will be allowed to compete on an equal footing, which opponents say will cause major disruption. Nick Dixon has been looking at what this could mean for the consumer.
You may be seeing a little less of your friendly local postman. From the start of the new year, Royal Mail will lose its monopoly on delivering your letters. Any licensed operator will be able to deliver mail to business and residential customers, and that kind of intense competition could mean current services being compromised. They may only be able to provide postal deliveries 5 days a week. Some areas may not be able to get a delivery at all, any day of the week. And the cost of stamps could rise by more than 20%. So you might be paying a little bit extra for your first-class stamp in the new year, but will it be a second-class service?
Well, joining me now from West London is Peter Lough MP, the chairman of the Commons Trade and Industry Committee. Peter, very good morning to you. Just how serious a threat is this in your view?
Well, we don't yet know. It's quite a gamble that's being taken, opening up the market 3 years earlier than we need to, and our competitors in Europe largely aren't doing that. So we have to wait and see, and we're not quite convinced that Postcom, the regulator, has thought through the possible downside of this for the Royal Mail.
So what are you saying, that the Post Office should remain a monopoly?
No, absolutely not. There's no doubt the liberalisation that's already happened, which is quite significant actually, has brought real benefits to consumers, particularly so far business consumers. But the Post Office has all kinds of challenges, underinvested, massive pension deficit, there's a whole price review been going on at the same time which it's had to plan for, and it's had to face this extensive liberalisation too, the result of which no one knows yet. So we think Postcom are just saying a bit too fast, a little slower would have been good.
Well, isn't it up to the Post Office to sort out those problems?
Yeah, absolutely it is, and they're doing quite well, to be fair. Industrial disputes are down very sharply, their performance is up, and a lot of things are going right, but it's an awful lot being asked to bite off. 350 years of monopoly ended pretty quickly, and 3 years ahead of what's happening in Europe. And in other sectors, we've seen we've opened up ahead of Europe. Sometimes it's meant our European competitors get a foothold over here, which we can't get over there.
So what are we looking at? Yet another increase in the price of stamps? They're already going up by 20%. Are you suggesting they go up even further?
No. The increase that Postcom and the Royal Mail now seem to have agreed between them seems to strike the right balance. No one wants price increases, obviously not, but they do have huge investment requirements, a big pension fund deficit to meet, and we think the balance is now being struck right. But we think the government should also not take any more dividends than the Royal Mail to help them meet their financial requirements. No further price increases beyond the one already agreed.
The watchdog organisation Postwatch say there's no need for concern at all, that the Post Office can cope with this competition quite easily without any sort of intervention by yourself or indeed by the government.
Well, it may be that's the case, it may be, but what we've asked in our report is the government puts in place through Postcom mechanisms to make sure things happen faster than expected. I'd have to say the Royal Mail's competitors were remarkably quiet and give evidence to us, making me think they thought they were going to do quite well out of the new arrangements. If things happen quicker than expected and the universal service, which you all value so much in this country, is threatened, we need to make sure we can move quickly to protect it. We're not quite convinced enough's been done to protect universal service.
OK, Peter, thanks very much for taking time out to talk to us. Just a quick email from one of our viewers this morning. Perhaps now the Royal Mail will sort out its staff and get rid of the dishonest people who pinch parcels and credit cards. That's from Maxine in Coventry. I'm sure that the Post Office is doing all they can to achieve exactly that.
Now the time is 6:42. Hatfield, Potters Bar, Clapham, just some of the disasters which have claimed scores of lives. In each of these incidents, no one person was held accountable because of a loophole in the law on corporate manslaughter. Now, this morning, MPs are calling for the rules to be tightened up to ensure a fair deal for relatives who've lost loved ones. Lucy McDonald reports.
October the 5th, 1999, the day 31 people were killed and 400 injured in the Paddington rail disaster. The crash happened when a Thames train service went through a red signal and hit a London-bound Great Western Express. Earlier this month, the Crown Prosecution Service said there was insufficient evidence to provide a realistic prospect of conviction of any individuals. Relatives who lost loved ones say the laws on corporate manslaughter need tightening up. Their call is backed today by senior MPs. The draft legislation is designed to punish companies who fail to meet health and safety laws, leading to death. But the Select Committee report warns it may let some big firms off the hook because it targets failings by the senior management of an organisation, which is harder to prove in court, rather than focusing on one individual.
Well, I'm joined now by Maureen Kavanagh, who lost her 29-year-old son Peter in the Southall rail crash some 8 years ago now, and I know you've been campaigning for a long time to try and get justice for your son. What's been your experience of trying to get a corporation into court?
Well, the fact is, there was a change. There was in the actual Labour government's manifesto in '97. It was stated that they wanted to change the law on corporate manslaughter, and in all fairness to the Labour government, they're the first government that's actually admitted that. They've been making all the right noises, but it's 8 years later, and the actual proposed recommendations, the proposed bill that they wanted to put through, is a very watered down version of the Law Commission's recommendations that were made in 1996. Now, the Select Committee, whose report comes out today, have picked up on those weaknesses, and they've made some very good recommendations, and if they are acted on very quickly, then the law will achieve what we wanted, which is justice for people who don't have justice at the moment.
So why was it ever in a situation where you couldn't hold people accountable? Presumably it's because a whole mixture of circumstances can lead to a crash or a problem of this. I wanted to say accident, but of course you would argue it's not an accident. But a whole mixture of culpability could be in there, and is it fair to penalise one person?
Well, the situation is that over the past several years, there have been many people killed, but there have only been 3 or 4 successful prosecutions, and they've been with small companies where there are not layers and layers of management. It's the big corporations that are actually getting away with it, and what happens is they have a fine through health and safety, which means absolutely nothing at all to them, and we feel there should be penalties that are equal to the fact that people have been killed. It's not so much that we want to actually pinpoint one particular person. Yes, there may be directors that are held responsible, but that would be in rare cases. It's mainly the companies.
You could find that everybody else would just pick a scapegoat and dump it on them. It's the companies.
It really is the companies. In extreme situations where a company has proved that they've ignored safety warnings, they've been negligent, then directors that are guilty would also be held responsible. But mainly it's the companies. Good companies don't have to worry about this law. Bad companies will not change unless they have a deterrent and they're made to see.
Morning, Kevin. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Time now, 14 minutes to 7. Very good morning to you if you are just joining us. These are the headlines you're waking up to today. It might be the last Christmas some of us get our cards through the post. MPs fear new competition for the Royal Mail could mean some deliveries having to be dropped.
Well, there was a star-studded turnout for Sir Elton John's Stag Night. His is one of 700 gay weddings this week.
And time's running out for Toga the baby penguin. If he's not reunited with his parents soon, he could die. He was stolen from a zoo on the Isle of Wight. Now, anything we can do, they can do bigger and better, or at least that's how it looks when it comes to celebrating Christmas in the United States. Every day this week, Cordelia is looking at their festive excess, if we can call it that. Cordelia, very good morning to you. What have you got for us today?
Good morning. Well, bigger, definitely. Better, maybe. Brasher? Well, surprisingly for America, no, where you might expect to see some good old-fashioned American bad taste. Actually, the New York Christmas decorations around and about the streets and the shops this year are surprisingly sophisticated. Let's look at the shop windows. You've got Bloomies. They've got a kind of Aladdin Winter Wonderland theme going on. In Saks, it's all about good old-fashioned Victorian values. Just take a look at this. Christmas on Fifth Avenue, and the crowds don't just come to shop, they come to stop and stare, because Christmas is when these shop windows really come to life.
Santa's department store elves go for gold at this time of year. And at Bergdorf Goodman, also for silver. Red's big at Cartier, and classic white decks the halls at Saks.
We really look at these windows and what we do on the front of the store with our snowflake spectacle as a Christmas card to the city of New York. We're lucky enough as a company to be on Fifth Avenue, across from Rockefeller Center, across from that marvelous tree at this time of year. And it's really just a way to hopefully create traditions with family. Best thing I could say is describe it in the face of a child and fingerprints on the glass. That's when we know, we've done a good job.
When street decorations are this big, you can bet the themes behind them are even grander, because the designers are aiming for posterity.
They're unlike anything I've ever seen before.
They're certainly very artistic, maybe a little bit out there for me, but artistic.
Out there, what does this one represent?
It says it represents friendship.
It looks like it's about harmony on the planet and getting along with others who are different than we are.
Well, it's about making friendship and it's winter. It's like snowflakes and winter and friendship and that knowing other people in the world and all over the world. And I think it's about...
OK, so we're not exactly sure what all this art represents, but one thing is crystal clear. Christmas decorations stop traffic in New York.
Looks expensive, right? Well, it is. Every year, Americans spend £4 billion on Christmas decorations. Billion every year. The big department stores wouldn't tell me exactly how much they spent on their windows, but I can tell you it's well up into six-figure sums. And I thought I'd gone overboard on the high street this year.
Cordelia, thanks very much indeed.
Well, that's it from the news hour. Fiona and Andrew are waiting in the wings with GMTV today. They're going to be talking to Britain's new dance king, Darren Gar.
Yes, we've got the weather coming up, but that's after another Christmas message from one of our troops in Basra.
Hello, I'm Paul Davis from South Wales.
I'd like to wish my mother and father and all my family and friends a happy Christmas, a great New Year. See you all in May next year. Have a great Christmas. Miss you all. See you all soon. Love, Paul.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. A lot of cloud out there today, some patchy rain across the far west, and down in the south, watch out for some mist and fog patches. They could be slow to clear, particularly across the southeast. Generally speaking, as you can see, there is a lot of cloud, but also some sunshine, particularly for eastern parts of Scotland and northeastern areas of England. Through the morning into the afternoon, the cloud will thicken even further across the Western Isles, as well as the western parts of Scotland, bringing some rain, heavier rain through this afternoon. The rain then spilling across to Caithness, as well as the Highlands, but hopping over the Highlands, that's where you should see still some brighter weather. Some cloud, though, for the Northern Isles, 10 degrees Celsius here, that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. For Northern Ireland, again, there is a chance of the odd spot or two of rain, but inland places such as Belfast getting away with some brighter weather. More in the way of cloud for the border regions, as well as northwestern areas of England. But for the east there, you can see anywhere from Northumberland down towards Cleveland, as well as eastern parts of Yorkshire. You should get away again with some brighter spells. For Wales, lots of cloud here, but again over the Welsh mountains, places such as Shropshire, as well as Cheshire, down towards Worcestershire and Gloucestershire. Again, here some brighter skies from time to time. More in the way of cloud for the Midlands, but East Anglia, despite the fact temperature's going to be struggling a little bit, only 6 degrees Celsius. Here we could see some sunshine. Sunshine where the fog actually clears away through this afternoon, but it could linger in one or two spots, such as parts of Sussex as well as Kent. Central southern England getting away with some brighter spells from time to time. More in the way of cloud for the West Country as well as the Scilly Isles, and also we should see some sunshine across the Channel Islands. Temperatures here around 10 Celsius. Over the next few days, we're rather windy across Scotland and Northern Ireland. We see cloud and rain gradually sinking its way southwards. Brighter weather always for parts of England and Wales, coming and going through the day, 7 or 8 Celsius. Temperatures a bit chilly if you don't see any sunshine. Friday into Saturday, then brighter weather for Scotland and Northern Ireland. We'll see more in the way of clouds sinking southwards on these days, with a little bit of rain from time to time. And the all-important day, Christmas Day, well, sadly no snow, mostly dry, but a lot of cloud. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
The Christmas #1. Children from Danesfield Manor School in Walton-on-Thames, Langley Manor in Langley, of course, and Silchester Manor in Maidenhead. We thank all those schools. They're banding together to get us off to a decent start this morning. Good morning. This is GMTV.
Now, Miss Rogers was frantically conducting that whole lot. You can't see Miss Rogers, but she was working very hard behind the scenes. There's Miss Rogers. Morning, Miss Rogers.
They had their eyes on you
all
like a
present. Should we do a register? No, maybe not. It's
Phillips.
almost 7 o'clock on Tuesday, the 20th of December, 2005.
register with a name like Castle. I had to be in there quickly because it was right up at the top. The Manor Tree Group Choir will be back in an hour to sing Good King Wenceslas for us. Looking forward to that.
Wenceslas, you say,
Wenceslas.
Wenceslas.
What'd you say?
Well, they just said Good King Wenceslas, like most people say.
Am I wrong on that one? Have I started with another mistake?
No. What do you say? Oh, we'd love to hear from you. These men and women will certainly be dreaming of a white Christmas, although, of course, there's little chance of one where they are in Basra. Find out what this coming weekend will be like for our boys and girls serving thousands of miles away from home, and for their loved ones, of course. We'll be catching up with some of them in 10 minutes.
And one of you is going to be £10,000 richer very, very soon. So stay tuned. Keith Chegwin is standing by with a check. Keith?
Open sleigh, oh, jingle bells, a very good morning to you. Yeah, your chance to win £10,000, and in about 15 minutes time I'll give you more clues. But Steve, we've got to do this one for him now. This is the best clue I've ever given on Doorstep Challenge. Goes like this. Do part two? Second part. Yeah, like that. Oh, fantastic. See you in a mo.
It's a rabbit or a hare and something to do with water.
Swimming. Don't know. Don't know. We'll see him in 15 minutes, though.
Dancing King Darren Gough, the Dazzler, here to tell us about his Strictly Come Dancing triumph and the Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special, too.
Indeed, and a little chat with Scarlet Johansson as well. So a lot to come up. 7 o'clock is the time. Here's Kate with the news.
Thanks very much indeed. Good morning to you. The main stories this morning. Why some of us might not get post in the future. A star-studded occasion is Elton John's Stag Night. And time's running out for a baby penguin stolen from a zoo. There are fears this morning that postal deliveries for some of us could become a thing of the past. That's because in just over a week's time, the Royal Mail will face competition and might not be able to afford to run the service it does now. Rachel Harrison is at one of the biggest sorting offices in the world, Mount Pleasant in London. Morning, Rachel.
Yes, good morning. Well, it's officially the last day you can post a first-class letter, and while the Royal Mail struggles to cope with one of the busiest times of the year in the new year, it may also be struggling to survive. Postcom, the office watchdog, has stripped the Royal Mail of its 350-year monopoly, and from January the 1st, it will open up the market to other licensed operators. It says it will improve the state of the nation's postal service as well as improve reliability, but not everyone agrees. A group of senior MPs believe that we could see a 20% increase in the price of a stamp, and state that the Royal Mail may not in the future be able to afford to deliver to every single address in the country because it's simply just not affordable. Now, it comes at a really bad time for the Royal Mail. They've already had to put up the price of a stamp. They're struggling to cope with the £4 billion deficit in pensions, but it's not all bad news because Postwatch say the MP's claims are unfounded. They say that the Royal Mail has coped with competition in the past and it will cope in the future.
Rachel, thanks very much indeed. Many more people could be charged with manslaughter instead of murder under new proposals being put forward today. It's the first review of murder laws for more than 50 years. The Law Commission is thinking of bringing in an American-style system with different levels, such as Murder 1 and Murder 2. At least 19 people were killed when a seaplane crashed off the coast of Miami in Florida last night. Witnesses report seeing an explosion before the aircraft carrying 20 passengers and crew plunged into the sea close to Miami Beach. Private boats and jet skis helped rescuers recover bodies from the water. Investigations into the cause of the accident are continuing. The baby son of the former EastEnders star Elaine Lorden has died. It's only a few days since James Emanuel's first birthday and his parents' wedding. A spokesman for Elaine said James's death was totally unexpected, although he had been born with a defective diaphragm, which stopped his lungs developing properly. His parents thought he was over the worst. They're said to be distraught. The Great Mars Mystery has been solved. Scientists say they spotted bits of the missing British probe, Beagle 2, which disappeared 2 years ago. The £50 million craft was launched by the European space amid huge publicity. Pictures from a NASA spaceship show bits of Beagle scattered inside a small crater on the red planet. Now, one of the biggest stag do's of the year was held in London last night. Elton John and his partner David Furnish tie the knot tomorrow. But first, they had a massive party to host. This report by Kate Recordon contains flash photography.
If you want a glitzy occasion, you can guarantee these two will provide it. And their friends were there to make sure Elton John and David Furnish would celebrate their joint stag night in style. Gary Barlow sang them Relight My Fire. Janet Street Porter was expected to sing them a duet alongside Paul O'Grady.
I'm comparing.
Are you excited?
I'm the host on the Cock and Hen.
What are you going to be saying tonight?
Oh, what you normally say on Cock and Hens.
You're looking backwards,
No, I'm
lads.
looking forward to it. It'll be a good night.
You're walking backwards. Even Bill Clinton sent them a videoed congratulations message.
It's all fantastic.
The couple will tie the knot tomorrow in what will be one of England's first civil partnerships. So this had all the makings of a very successful stag do. A room full of your friends, champagne flowing and a cracking cabaret. Kate Recordon, GMTV News.
Detectives are baffled by the mysterious disappearance of a baby penguin believed to have been stolen from a zoo on the Isle of Wight. His keepers say 4-month-old Toga is too young to survive without his parents to feed him. Nick Dixon reports.
A pint-sized penguin has vanished without a trace. Toga's family have been watching out for him since he was taken from the Amazon World Zoo on Saturday night.
Unfortunately, he's still being fed by his parents, so it's very, very important that we get him back as soon as possible. He won't survive and he won't allow anybody to actually feed him.
Toga is the first jackass penguin to be bred at the zoo. He's 4 months old, about 12 inches tall, weighs just 10 pounds and still has his baby brown and white colouring. Staff at the zoo are begging the thieves to bring him home, as without his mum and dad to look after him, he might not make it till Christmas.
Now the time is 7:05. More news at 7:30. Here's what's happening where you are, though.
Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News from ITV Granada. First, people in the poorest parts of the northwest have a life expectancy 10% lower than the national average, according to new figures. The Wealth Means Health study compared the health of residents in the top 20% against those in the bottom 20. It looked at conditions from mental illness to diabetes. It found that people from poor areas are 3 times more likely to suffer from mental health problems and twice as likely to suffer heart attacks. The hunt's continuing for a toddler who's been snatched from her foster parents by her real mother. 2-year-old Cora Boyd was taken from the Stonehouse Resource Centre on St Helens Road in Lee last Friday. Detectives believe she is with 21-year-old Rebecca Bushell. She was last spotted in the Abram area of Wigan, 5 miles away. A man's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a man was found with stab wounds on Merseyside. Police were called to a house on Kersey Road in Kirby last night, where they found the man. He died later in hospital. Now, with the festive season in full swing and Hogmanay just around the corner, many of you will be stocking up on your favourite Scottish tipple. And as any connoisseur will tell you, there's no Scotch like that distilled north of the border. But as Phil Gornall reports, that may be about to change.
Though the idea may make many a Scotsman shudder, Staveley near Kendal may soon be the new home of the amber fluid. A new distillery in the village is the brainchild of Scottish entrepreneur Andrew Curry. He launched his first distillery north of the border 10 years ago. Now he's determined to try his hand in the Lake District, the River Kent, its unique attraction.
It is the water. This is England's fastest flowing river. 2 years ago I was tasting water in a hotel, spring source, and I thought this is fantastic water. So I looked around and I saw the mountains. I realised very similar geography to Scotland, to the Isle of Arran where I was based at that time. We had the water analysed. It's precisely the right pH value to make great whisky, and this is water that deserves to be turned into England's first malt whisky.
If everything goes according to plan, the first bottles of Lakeland single malt will hit the market in 5 years' time.
And that's it for now. I'll be back at 8:05. Time now for a look at the region's weather.
Pantene Pro V Winter Rescue. Forecasting a great hair day, whatever the weather.
A cloudy start with some sunny spells. It'll become increasingly overcast later, but it should stay dry all day. Top temperature today of 7 Celsius, so it will feel a little colder than it did yesterday.
hello again. Now, you may be a little bit stressed out over your Christmas shopping, getting all the food in, all that sort of stuff, but imagine if your top priority this festive season is simply to avoid being shot or killed in the name of duty.
Well, all this week we're bringing you Christmas messages from our troops in Iraq, but what are conditions really like there and how will they be spending Christmas this weekend? Richard Gaisford has been to Basra to find out.
For the 8,000 servicemen and women based here in southern Iraq, there'll be no comforts of home this Christmas. This is the standard accommodation here in the desert-like conditions. But packages sent thousands of miles from home make a big difference at this time of year. And inside their tents, these rangers from the Royal Irish Regiment are making an effort to make it feel more like Christmas.
Nope, why not? Keep it the Christmas day. Just told me on the phone. Will you get the order for me? Oh, obviously, I'd like to be home, but it's my first Christmas away. I have to be away for at least one Christmas, so see what happens. Should be good fun, especially with all the guys. I can get all the presents on the January sales when I get home, but yeah, I'm going to miss my family, yeah, of course I am. It's natural. But I'm with the lads, these boys are my family, you know what I mean?
Work will have to go on. Colin here is likely to find himself on guard duty on his first Christmas away.
There'll be a Christmas dinner of some sort. There'll be other stuff going on, but obviously stuff has to go on still.
Others too aren't with loved ones for the first time. This lot are all from the West Midlands and have other jobs as well as family back home. They're TA soldiers and appreciate efforts to bring a touch of Christmas to Iraq.
I've got 2 teenage daughters, so that's going to be different, but I'll cope with it and they're going to cope with it. I will make up for it when I get back. You know, Christmas will be like July time, be a bit weird, but you know, we'll have to do that.
I think it'll be something completely different, but wait and see. Not sure what to expect.
The weather will certainly be different. These lads from the RAF will still be keeping things clean on Christmas Day in the knowledge that their families will all be thinking of them.
I think they still worry about it as though I'm their little boy, like, but, you know, I think they'll miss me more than I'll miss them, if you know what I mean.
I'm single, but I find it quite hard being away from my family. Try to get home as often as I can. I suppose they don't want me away either, but you sign up and you realise you've got to do it, so you sort of just take it on the chin.
No sign of snow around, and yet I go around, hearing jingle bells ringing in my ear.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Well, Richard made it home safely. He joins us now live from Hereford and the home of Cheryl Spurling. Cheryl's the wife of Private Colin Spurling, who we saw in that report there. He's serving with the West Midlands Regiment in Basra. Richard, morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. It really is a tough time of year for the families. Colin takes pride of place on the mantelpiece there, but he's unlikely to be home until the summer, as he said. And these just 3 families of the 120 men who are serving from the West Midlands Regiment at the moment out in Basra. And Cheryl, I mean, it is such a horrible time, isn't it? You've just seen him on the telly there. You know, quite emotional.
Yes, it is. It's the first time Colin's done a tour, and obviously he's not going to be home for Christmas. We're really missing, but I've got good family and friends. Me and my girls are going to London, so that'll be nice.
And the nice thing is that the army is paying for you to go to London to
Yes,
your family. So
yes, they're paying for us.
That's a great thing. Rebecca and Emma at the back there, I mean, Dad's been sending lots of letters, hasn't he? That's it, it must help.
Yeah, it does. And we always get all the latest gossip from there and stuff.
And Rebecca, I mean, you've been speaking to him on the phone as well?
Yeah, he gets a 20-minute phone call a week, so we can all, like, talk to him and stuff.
Oh, that must be nice. Now, Hannah is holding a picture of her dad, Stuart Cottrell, there, and Julie, I mean, you must be missing him. I know that Stuart's been away to Afghanistan for a few months before.
He has, yeah.
But as a TA soldier, this is quite a tough assignment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but no doubt they're enjoying it, and he'll be fine, and, you know, they're all having a good time, I hope.
And you're sticking together as a group. I'm quite impressed with, you know, you're organising social things and things to do.
Yeah. Well, we've got a captain in Shrewsbury who's been very good to us. He's organised a few coffee evenings for the girls, and we meet and have social evenings ourselves, and we're off to Birmingham and different
That's
places.
nice.
You
Oh,
know.
that's good. And
So,
Karen, I mean, you've got Melissa here, 2.5.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be a tough time of year, and Ruby as well. I mean, it must be a very tough time of year for you.
It is, but it's a lovely time of year. I mean, Christmas is, you know, this is what it's all about, and they do keep me very busy and very entertained, and yeah, so it is hard, and you know, obviously the girls do talk about Phil, and we do miss him terribly, but yeah, I feel very fortunate. Yeah.
Well, Ruby's got some pictures of her dad there. You're very proud of your dad, aren't you, and what he's doing?
Yeah, I'm very proud, but I'm also very upset that he's gone, because I've been used to him going away for sometimes like little weekends, but I think I miss him loads because he's going away for 6 months.
6 months is a long time, Ruby, isn't it? Well, listen, Christmas maybe a bit later in the year for all of these people, and it is extra tough on these guys because when their husbands and their partners signed up for the TA, Andrew, they thought it was weekends away and maybe, you know, a 2-week camp. Didn't think it was going to be 6 months out in Iraq.
No, Richard, didn't look like the ad, did it? And only a 20-minute phone call. That's something
10
of a
minutes,
surprise.
she said,
Was
I
it, did she
think.
say 10 minutes
Yeah.
or 20 minutes a week? That's not much.
20 minutes a week, and there are emails and there are other ways of getting in touch as well. So, you know, but it's so remote, thousands of miles away, and all of these guys have got to try and make a Christmas for themselves back home.
Well, thanks ever so much to Cheryl Spurling for letting us in this morning, and thanks to the boys and girls out there doing their duty, doing it on our behalf. So we
What
appreciate
about their jobs then? Because the Territorial Army is a volunteer part-time thing, so what about their full-time jobs? I wonder what happens there.
I don't know about that. Maybe somebody can enlighten us on that.
Yeah, right. Keith Chegwin has a cheque for £10,000. He's ready to deliver it. He's given us a very odd clue this morning as to where that cheque is going. He said it is his best clue yet. What's that on his head?
Hey, this is my little friend. Very good morning to you. Do you know what? I love my doorstep challenge. Yeah, the clue I gave you, I'm going to give it to you again because it's quite tough, but it is a fantastic one. It's like this. And like that. Fantastic. We travelled 4 hours on the road yesterday just to knock on your door with a cheque for £10,000. More clues a little bit later on when I run down the street, but stand by your beds because knocking on your door about 7:45.
Knocking on your door, so don't be late.
You could win £10,000. You could win £10,000. GMTV, it's the place to be. You could win £10,000. Back soon.
They deserve the sack for that when they get back. Really.
3 decades in the business, and that's it.
You can't sack my mate Steve. He's been with me for 24 years now.
Particularly Steve, in fact.
Quality chorus. Thanks very much. And we've got another £10,000 to give away tomorrow, and here are the details for that.
You're a £10,000 winner. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. We've got £10,000 for you to win every day this week in time for Christmas, to spend on whatever you like. So here's the question you need to answer. 10,000 quid, she's a winner. St. Stephen's Day, December the 26th, is better known as A, Boxing Day, B, New Year's Eve, or C, Valentine's Day.
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Lines are open till 9 o'clock this morning, so good luck and get dialing.
Yeah, have a crack at that if you feel like it. £10,000 on offer.
17 minutes past 7 is the time. Tuesday morning. Morning, everyone. We've got the Dazzler coming up very, very
Dickinson
soon.
again, is it?
Not him.
not
No,
that.
he isn't right, Bobby. Oh, no, this little Dazzler.
Oh, yes, he was good.
It's Will. I thought we were talking about Darren Goff, who we've got on later, but we've got Will Thorpe. He's about to make a dramatic exit from Casualty over Christmas, and he's going to tell us all about that after the break.
But first, a message from one of our boys who will be in Basra for Christmas.
Hello, my name's Lance Cooper Johnny Vaughan. I'm from Wolverhampton. I'd like to wish my girlfriend Faye and my dad John a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon.
Forgotten something, Rudolph? Christmas on GMTV with Tesco.
Poor reindeer. There's a gripping Christmas helping of Casualty on its way this weekend. It promises to have us on the edge of our seats. And I've got my little friend Will Thorpe here this morning, who you'll know for wowing us with his fancy footwork in Strictly Come Dancing. Will, you're about to make an exit, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah. Dramatic exit from Casualty.
Woody, who we all loved. How does he bow out?
Well, it's a big two-parter Christmas special, and it's really dramatic. They've really pushed the budget out, and it's basically the staff from Holby City and the Casualty Department are on their way to their annual Christmas do.
Oh, so this is one of those special combination things where they all tie up. Good.
And they're involved in a massive pile-up in a tunnel, like a 20-car pile-up, and inside the tunnel are like the staff from the hospital. So they end up all being trapped inside this tunnel and then having to put their kind of medical expertise into practice and saving everybody, but yeah.
Yes, and this all happens on Christmas Eve. How
That's
unfortunate.
Right.
On BBC One at 8 o'clock, we're just going to have a little peek of part of it now. It
Well
doesn't
done.
look hopeful, does it?
No, things go from bad to worse in that tunnel, yeah. No, it just gets worse and worse in true Casualty style.
Oh, no,
Everyone,
'cause it's
happy
a
Christmas for everybody.
It's a two-parter,
That's
Christmas
right, yeah.
Eve and the 27th
That's
as
right,
well.
yeah.
So you're still around by the end of Christmas Eve, are you?
Yeah,
And then
by the 27th, things are just getting worse and worse. They've discovered there's some toxic chemicals that are leaking within the tunnel. Everyone's having difficulty breathing. And by the end, that little baby that you saw there is stuck in a car, and there's a canister underneath the car. And the only way to kind of to keep the baby alive is to try and get these chemicals out of the tunnel. And Woody volunteers himself to run the distance of the tunnel with these canisters. It's really dramatic.
We'll be sorry to see Woody go.
Yeah, it's been a great time. I've had a brilliant time
So
on
you've had a
Casualty.
year, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a brilliant time and a lovely character, but I kind of got to the point I thought, I want to keep things fresh, and I'm still young, and I want to kind of keep moving and doing different stuff now, so it was kind of a good time to kind of leave on a high, you know.
Well, and then you went and Strictly Come Dancing.
That's right.
You fool.
I know, what was I thinking?
Were you recording all that dramatic stuff when you first started
I was,
Strictly?
yeah. It was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest with you, because I was kind of doing like a 11-hour day on that, and then as soon as I finished, going straight off and rehearsing for like 3 hours at night. And,
No, it was crazy schedule, wasn't it?
It was,
yeah. I just think we ought to see you in action on the Strictly Come Dancing floor again. Yeah, go on. Can you believe you did that now?
I know I'm going to look back at that in 5 years and just think, I can't believe I did that, because it was just a weird experience watching it back there.
Yeah, and we were both in the audience last night, weren't we, for the recording of the Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special, which goes out on Christmas Eve. And just seeing the other couples go around the dance floor, I thought, I can't believe I actually did that.
I know, it was just,
Well,
I found the whole
actually,
thing terrifying.
Would
and
you do it again if you were asked? I mean, would you? I mean, knowing what you know now, both of you, would you have gone through the experience of that?
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it again and just chill out a bit more and just have a laugh with it. But you just kind of, in your mind, it's like life and death, you know, you're backstage ready to go on, and just, I used to just get so terrified, and there's no reason, 'cause it's just like a bit of fun.
Yeah,
I think
but
the people
it was such a high standard, this, wasn't it? It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a league sort of, I mean, you were good, I was hopeless, but then there was Colin and Erin, Zoe and Darren.
I mean, anyone that was in it this year was kind of wishing they were in it last year, because they probably would have, you know, been up definitely in the semi-finals, you know, but everyone was really good this year.
You did really well, though. I used to love you coming down the stairs. Your little face lit up the whole studio. Have a lovely Christmas, a peaceful Christmas with Joseph, who's 10 months now, and your lovely wife. And you're having a quiet Christmas.
We are, yeah, just a family at home. Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Good, enjoy it. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Cheers.
Actually, I'm sick of the sight of him. I've seen him so many times over the last 3 months. We've been together all. It's like been like a family thing.
It is,
hasn't it?
Martin's brother from the army is in. He tells me about the territorial army. The employers are obliged to allow the territorial army guys to have some time off. There you go. Add a lot to that.
We've got the Dazzler, Darren Goffin, later as well. So after 8, so we look forward to that.
We've got a dazzler on the weather. Here she is.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. Well, some patchy cloud over us today, but this thick area of cloud gradually sinking its way southwards over the next 24 hours or so, bringing some rain to some parts of the country. But this morning, it's a rather cloudy start. Watch out for some mist and fog, particularly across more southern areas. It's very slow to clear today. Eastern parts seeing some sunshine. In the west, that's where we're seeing more in the way of cloud and the odd spot or two of rain. Through the afternoon, the cloud thickening even further, and that means for the western Isles as well as western parts of Scotland, you should see some rain coming a bit more persistent through the end of the day. Also some rain coming up towards the Caithness as well as Northern Isles, but for the eastern side, that's where it will remain dry and also bright from time to time. 8 Celsius here, not too bad. For Northern Ireland, more in the way of cloud across the far north of Northern Ireland. Again, the odd spot or two of rain can't be ruled out later on, and generally there will be a lot of cloud, although 1 or 2 hints of brightness from time to time. The border regions seeing a cloudy day, some brighter weather though for North East England. Heading down to the south, we can see here for East Anglia some sunshine, for the Midlands, cloud and sun coming and going, and also for Wales, but more in the way of cloud, particularly across this western part of Wales here down towards Pembrokeshire. As let's head down towards the southeast, we can see here the mist and fog may be slow to clear through the afternoon, and temperatures struggling, particularly where that fog lingers, 6 or even 7 Celsius. But where the fog does clear, you should see some brighter weather through the afternoon, brighter weather for central southern England, but down towards the West Country, that's where there will be quite a lot of cloud, some brighter weather, 10 Celsius for the Channel Islands. And then over the next few days, well, the cloud gradually moves its way southwards. During Wednesday, some brighter weather for Scotland and Northern Ireland. It's quite windy here, hanging on to some bright weather in the south, but again, watch out for the mist and fog first thing. And then on Thursday, more in the way of cloud comes in without outbreaks of rain. This rain sinking its way southwards Thursday into a Friday, and that means Christmas Eve, a cloudy start across more southern areas, brighter in the north, and then for Christmas Day, sadly, it looks like there won't be any snow, rather chilly though at times, and rather cloudy as well. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
7:30 it is now. Let's get the news from Kate.
Thanks very much indeed. Good morning to you. There are fears this morning that postal deliveries for some of us could become a thing of the past. That's because in just over a week's time, the Royal Mail will face competition and might not be able to afford to run the service it does now. MPs will publish a report today expressing their concerns. Many more people could be charged with manslaughter instead of murder under new proposals being put forward today. It's the first review of murder laws for more than 50 years. The Law Commission is considering the American-style system with different levels, such as Murder 1 and Murder 2. At least 19 people were killed when a seaplane crashed off the coast of Miami in Florida last night. Witnesses report seeing an explosion before the aircraft carrying 20 passengers and crew plunged into the sea close to Miami Beach. Private boats and jet skis helped rescuers recover bodies from the water. The baby son of the former EastEnders star, Lane Lorden, has died. It's only a few days since James Manuel's first birthday and his parents' wedding. A spokesman for Lane said James's death was totally unexpected. Although he had been born with a defective diaphragm which stopped his lungs developing properly, his parents thought he was over the worst. They are said to be distraught. One of the biggest stag do's of the year was held in London last night. Sir Elton John and his partner David Furnish tie the knot tomorrow, but first they had a massive party to host. And the time now is 7:31. More news at 8 o'clock. Here are Fiona and Andrew.
Thank you. We'd like to tell you about another way to watch TV. Yet another way. GMTV is the first major British TV programme to broadcast live on a mobile phone.
Would you want that coming out of your phone?
Straight at you with Richard Arnold. Now, 3 of the big mobile operators now offer GMTV every morning on their new 3G services, apparently.
Yeah, Vodafone, Orange and the 3 network are all showing live pictures, so you can take us with you on your way to work or college. So even if you can't stand the sight of us, you can't get rid of us. Each phone operator has different costs and conditions, and you can check those on our website, gm.tv, or to talk to your operator direct.
Normally not allowed these in the studio because they mess about, but they're okay today. These are the 3G things, just a little bit bigger, a little bit fatter, a bit more information, a bit more difficult to use as well, but I'm sure you get used to them if you're under 20.
That's a rather smart looking one.
Yeah, that one's okay, isn't it? But if you're going along, you've got to sort of do that. But anyway, so there we are, 3G phones.
It is amazing, actually, isn't it? How I'd even like to fathom how that happens, but anyway, we're live.
It works.
On your phone if you have a 3G phone. We're off to Hollywood next to see some of the over-the-top decorations on homes in LA as Tinseltown prepares to celebrate Christmas. Always odd, because it's always quite warm over there.
But first, spare a thought for the men and women serving in Iraq. Think about them. This soldier won't be home for Christmas.
Hello, my name's Corporal Mark Mountfield from Scots DG. I'd like to wish my wife, Paquita, and my children, Tilly and Ben, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And to anybody else that knows me, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
GMTV Christmas Lights. Sponsored by Clinton Cards.
Makes us laugh. 7:37 is the time. Right, the winner of our Christmas Lights competition will be revealed on Friday. This is the latest entry we've got for you this morning. We're off to Bedford. Bill and Rosemary Van Ballygowan have been decorating their home for the past 4 years, raising more than £2,000 for charity.
And do you know, it takes them a month to put up those lights, and this year they've already raised £600 for the Keach Cottage Children's Hospice in Luton. There's Bill and Rosemary. They give sweets and treats to children who visit their winter wonderland. And there they are, and that's Scamp the dog in the middle as well.
Who's going along with it,
Yes.
but he's not sure.
Never take sweets from strangers, children, but if you know Bill and Rosemary, it's okay.
Right, the moment has arrived. Let's go and find out where Keith Chegwin is this morning. He's going to make somebody extremely happy. Yesterday, we asked you this question, which is truly, must be the easiest. Which one of these is traditionally eaten at Christmas? The answer, of course...
Sparrow.
Sparrow. You won't get much from that. It's turkey. Right, Keith, £10,000 to give away. Go!
Oh, yeah,
That was the clue that I gave you.
No clue.
You all thought it was a rabbit, didn't you? Well done! Fantastic! Hartley the hare! And that was a pool, Gossarin, Hartley pool, and Steve's going to play, going down the street. Go for it, Steve, let's go! Fantastic. And I'm looking for number 44, and we're a bit worried because we spotted that car a moment ago, which came out of this house. That's the house I'm looking for, and I'm looking for a lady called Shirley. Are you Shirley? Oh my gosh! Fantastic! Come round here! That's the lady! Where are you going?
Really, Keith? I'm going to work.
You can't go to work! You know why?
Yeah.
Go on, tell me.
I want 10,000.
You certainly have!
Keith.
Oh, what? I'll tell you what, you're a busy lady, aren't you?
Yes.
She's had people coming in and out of the house since 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, you have. I have a husband going to work, and I'm just going to school to sort things out. We had a concert last night.
Oh, what? You don't need to go now, do you? £10,000 richer. Has it come at a good time?
Yeah, oh, wonderful, Keith, wonderful.
Brilliant. OK, well, fingers crossed. We're not going to get run over. Let's get off the curb. I'll see you later on. Well done to Shirley. Shirley Harrison.
Well done,
Thank you
Shirley.
very much.
My pleasure.
She's just off to school to sort things out.
Warm person.
Yeah, Shirley sorts things out. Courtesy of GMTV, £10,000 richer she is. It could be you tomorrow. Here are the details.
You're a £10,000 winner.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh. We've got £10,000 for you to win every day this week in time for Christmas, to spend on whatever you like. So here's the question you need to answer. 10,000 quid, she's a winner. St. Stephen's Day, December the 26th, is better known as A, Boxing Day, B, New Year's Eve, or C, Valentine's Day.
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Lines are open till 9 o'clock this morning, so good luck and get dialing.
It's worth it, isn't it? Get on the phone now. In case you're wondering about the Hartley the hare thing, actually.
No, I was clueless on that.
It's the Pipkins. I can't remember when it was. It was a little series called The Pipkins. Yeah, they were funny. No one else seems to know them. Good job, Keith, and I did. Right, I know a man who might know about the Pipkins because he's about sort of the same age range as me. You might recognise him too. His name is Ross King. There he is. He used to present Pebble Mill. That is no more.
Pipkins, that's what it was.
What was it?
Inigo Pipkins, wasn't it? Inigo Pipkins with Hartley the Hare.
Was it? No, I remember. Oh, is that what it said? I thought it said, "Here come the Pipkins." No.
Oh, just confusing matters.
But
there
it's
we
nice
are.
to see you anyway, even though you're giving us stuff information already, Ross.
That's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? What are you doing in LA then? Are you based there now?
Yeah, this is where I live. Up to you. No, I've done a couple of movies this year, and also I'm the entertainment anchor at KTLA, which is very like GMTV. It's the #1 station, so I'm very lucky to be working there and have a great time, get to interview the stars out here. And it's just it's a wonderful, fun way of life. It's a silly place full of silly people, and I'm happy to say I'm one of those very silly people.
Haven't you
As you
done
can see,
well?
there's another member of the King family there.
Yeah.
Slightly more successful one.
Yeah, King Kong. Yeah. That was funny. You can stay now. Christmas in LA is an odd thing, though, isn't it, Ross? It's never quite the same as Christmas back here, is it?
Oh, it's so true, Fiona. I mean, it's they have to be bigger, better, and, dare I say, tackier as well. I mean, some of the lengths they go to, it's the people's houses that really worry me. It's the people who, where they actually get the money to actually do the decorations. I mean, we're looking at some of the streets at the moment. I mean, the street signs in this, there's Rodeo Drive, probably the most famous street in the world. Look at that. You can walk up those stairs and lose a few grand just in a couple of the shops in the way. But the actual houses, look at this. There we are. This is down in Santa Monica. Unbelievable. Can you imagine what the electricity bill is like? That's what really freaks me out. I'm sure they love it at the time, and then suddenly January, poor people have heart attacks when that bill drops through the door.
Yeah, it happens a lot over here now. Now, we never used to do the big light thing over here, but we do now as our entrance in our competition.
Winner
are
on
showing
Friday.
us every day. Ross, the celebs are getting into the Christmas spirit as well, we hear.
Oh, yeah. Earlier this week, I, for the very first time, met Jim Carrey. I've got to say, one of the nicest guys that you could actually meet. A really funny guy in real life, too. Tonight, he was on the David Letterman show, and he decided that he wasn't really properly dressed. So, what do? Well, you go into the audience, you find a man who's actually even hairier than his jumper was. Then you take his jumper, you go back up on stage with Dave the Rave, and now you're properly dressed. There it is, wearing what looks like, actually looks like that jumper that you used to get from your old aunt that you only wore on Christmas Day. And that was it. Wore it Christmas afternoon. Or you wore it on Boxing Day when you went to the pantomime. That was it. That was the only time you ever wore it.
Yeah, well, and looking at that one, my goodness. Right, other celebs may have upstaged Jim's outfit we're here, though. What's that all about?
Yeah. Well, this one's just specially for the guys because David Letterman, big rival, Jay Leno, and on the Jay Leno show tonight, Pamela Anderson, and she didn't borrow anything from any members of the audience. She came with her own skimpy Santa outfit. And just watch what happens when Jay decides to give her a hug and a lift, and whoop, well, hello. There we are. How about that in your Christmas stocking?
No, thank
There
you.
we are.
But Andrew seems to be
watch
quite
it, she keeps pulling it down. There we are, and pulling it down at the back.
Barbie is alive and well, I see. Right. Hey, didn't you go over there to do the weather? Didn't you do a competition to do the weather? Was that you, Ross?
That's right. That's right. That was the last time that I actually spoke with you, Andrew, yeah, quite a while ago. In fact, it was a year ago, almost to the day, and I actually won a competition. They had this competition for all people from all over America and indeed all over the world. Different TV hosts to come out and try and be the weather anchor, and I got that job, and I was very, very fortunate. And while I was doing it, they suddenly said, well, would you like to be the entertainment anchor as well? And me, you know, no job too small. I said, thank you, I'll have that. And so that's what I've been doing at the moment. So I'm having a great time. I did both of them for a while, but now I've just moved on to just doing entertainment. So I'm having a great time.
And now you're doing us as well. Thank you.
I mean, the great thing is that just about an hour ago, I was saying good night, America, and now I'm saying good morning, Britain. It just doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Iceland is next, mate. See you, Ross.
Can you do some shopping? Get me a turkey.
Yeah, I know. Tough question.
We'll throw it
See you,
live
Ross.
by
Good to see
satellite,
you.
yeah. Thanks a lot, Ross.
OK, we've got weather from Claire in just a moment. Before that, TV's Richard Arnold is
Ross
here.
King. Do you remember that
Do you
quiz
remember
call?
Oh, no, I
Just
don't,
me, is it?
actually. No, I remember him on Pebble Mill.
DVD extras of that. Catherine Tate Christmas special coming up on Pick of the Day, but before that, another message from one of our lads. We are Bofford in Basra.
Kev Parker on Furness. Just wanted to say Merry Christmas to my wife Terry, my kids Bradley and Aidan, and everybody else who knows me back at home. See you next week. Take care.
Minnesota's First Pockets with technology, sponsors of TV Pick of the Day.
I did feel at the British Comedy Awards that Catherine Tate was a bit unlucky to come second in 1,000 categories.
How very dare you?
How very
dare
you are, Derek Tate. It's him.
It was a bit rude, actually, because I think she's actually I think she's cracking. I
She
love
came
her.
second in every category,
I
didn't she?
know. I
And
mean, you could have given her a little gong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For being on so many cutaways.
Well, but being so funny, to be brutally frank, and there's many a titter and tinsel in the Christmas special tonight. Chaz and Dave and Charlotte Church pitch up My Kind of Christmas, as well as our favourite bothered teen. Take a look.
I'm well nervous. Is it? Ain't you nervous? Totally. Ain't it though? Ain't you nervous?
No, man, I'm sweet. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo.
We are so gonna win this. £1 million recording contract, can you believe it?
That is fierce.
You got all that to look forward to with your lot.
Yeah,
lovely.
No, I'm already getting that. Don't talk to me.
I'm
getting all that.
Whatever. ABBA's all-time greatest hits. How would you put them in order, I wonder? And how do they make hits today? Well, apparently there's a piece of software. I've got to get this name right. The Hit Song Science. You pop it into your computer and it'll tell you whether a song's going to be a hit or not. So they've got a load of stars together and this software, and they put all of ABBA's hits into the computer to see whether it will say yes or no. Take a look.
Number 16, Ring Ring.
The day before you came.
Only Lulu gets it right this time. I Do was released in April 1975.
If you put all the songs together to find out what the best song ABBA did, setting aside popularity of Dancing Queen or Mamma Mia, I do.
Still holding a note. Still not looking his age. How depressing is that?
No, well, that's good.
By the time I get to that
Jimmy's
age, I look like I've
younger
been dug
brother,
up.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Jimmy's younger, doesn't he?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. The bill tonight, Cop the Lot, it's called. It's a quiz show. Apparently they do this in the Force, the boys in blue, and it's a way of sort of, well, entrapment's illegal, isn't it? But it's a way of sort of roping criminals in. I mean, clearly the boys don't do that. I'm going to go now. Brilliant. Right, I'll be off. Whatever. You know, where they basically have these quiz shows and they get people to come along and they think they're going to win a load of prizes when in actual fact they get nicked. It's like Space Cadet. Take a look.
It's entrapment.
The television crew will be made up of Sun Hill police officers. Now, they'll be led to think that they are taking part in a quiz programme. Big prizes, big money. And then when they sign on the dotted line...
We nick 'em? Yeah, Mum, what's this television programme called?
Cop the Lot. And I'm sure we will.
Good old Gina. Marvellous.
I like Roberta Taylor.
Oh, I
don't
think
you?
she's cracking.
She's got a book out as well, actually.
Is she? Oh, she's right. Very talented, very talented.
Have a nice trip to the dentist.
Oh, I've got to have a tooth out today. It's not the first time my head's been in a vice, mind you. Chemistry, I'll never forget it, 1985.
Well,
I was so popular with the other
yourself
kids.
from the sofa right now,
I will
post
do.
haste. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, let's find out what the weather has in store today.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Tops Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. Mist and fog across more southern areas today. Cloudy across more western parts with the odd spot or two of rain. And in the east, that's where we're seeing a little bit of sunshine from time to time. Not a lot of weather going on today. We'll see more cloud and rain moving in as we head through the next 24 hours. It's be coming in from the northwest, thickening cloud later on today, bringing some rain, particularly to the Western Isles as well as western parts of the mainland. But temperatures today in this part of the world will be mild indeed. 11 Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit. Hopping over the highlands where it will be cloudy with again with some patchy rain and drizzle. We can see here some brighter skies for Aberdeenshire, rather cloudy for the Northern Isles. Heading down to the borders, again, a lot of cloud here. The odd spot or two of rain can't be ruled out across northern parts of Northern Ireland, but inland shelter spots such as Belfast, you could get away with some brighter weather. Cloudy for the Isle of Man as well as northern counties of England, but again, northeast England getting away with some brighter skies from time to time. If I just move out the way, you can see for western parts of Wales, again here, a lot of cloud, but hopping over the Welsh mountains, places such as Shropshire down towards Worcestershire and Gloucestershire, you could see some brighter skies here from time to time, and also for the Midlands and East Anglia. But look at the temperatures, really struggling, particularly in the east. That's because it's been quite a chilly start today. 6 Celsius, only 43 Fahrenheit. The mist and fog could actually linger on through the afternoon on to prone spots like the High Weald in Kent, down towards the South Downs here. But if you do see some sunshine, temperatures getting up to around 7 Celsius, again struggling. The West Country is seeing more in the way of cloud, but again, to see a little bit of brightness across places such as Dorset as well as Somerset. Channel 9 seeing some bright weather also. Wednesday into Thursday, see the clouds sinking its way southwards. Hang on to some cloud and some fog in the far south Wednesday into Thursday, and then it's turning windy in the north with some outbreaks of rain. This is what we've got in store for Friday into Christmas Eve. The last minute shopping, not too bad, particularly across Scotland, North East England, and then on Christmas Day, no snow, rather cloudy. Here's your summary. For your in-depth local outlook, visit our website, or for a 10-day forecast, call GMTV's Weatherline on 0905 514 0000.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie, above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in the dark streets shineth the everlasting light. The hosts and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. Silently, how silently the wondrous gift is given. So God imparts to human hearts the blessings of His heaven. No ear may hear Him calling, but in this world of sin, where meek souls will receive Him still, the dear Christ enters in. O holy child of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in, be born in us today. We hear the Christmas angels, the great glad tidings tell. Oh, come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel.
Bravo.
There we are, lovely Christmassy start to the morning from the children from Danesfield Manor in Walton-on-Thames, Langley Manor in Langley and Silchester Manor in Maidenhead, singing us, as I say, into the morning on GMTV today.
It's approaching 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, the 20th of December, 2005.
Well, as we're feeling Christmassy, well, we better be, seeing as there's only 5 days to go, we are asking you this morning to spare a thought for those who need your help this holiday season. We've got our Christmas fairy out and about. There she is, Andrea McLean. To explain more, Andrea.
Hello, I'm busy chatting to Margaret, Fiona. I'll be with you in just a second. We're going to be finding out all this week just what we can do to help people who need a bit of cheering up this Christmas. Now, today I'm in an elderly residence home in Leicester, and I can tell you, so they don't need cheering up. We've been having a fine old time here this morning. Join us in around 10 minutes' time for the full story.
All right, look forward to
Yeah,
that.
we'll cheer them up because Barnsley is represented on the sofa this morning in the form of the lovely Darren Gough. He's going to be shimming into the studio to tell us about Strictly Come Dancing, the Christmas special, which you've seen a little bit of.
Which was recorded last night.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of rest from his triumph at the weekend, for that is what it was, and he was absolutely delighted. Talking to Darren in 20 minutes' time.
And also one of Hollywood's hottest stars, Andrew met Scarlett Johansson yesterday.
Moving experience.
Was it?
Yeah, no, she's
in
quite
many ways.
very,
Which
very
particular part moved? Oh,
beautiful.
yeah. Okay.
She has those pillowy lips things going on. She's quite, well, we'll see later.
We'll see later, yeah. And it's 8 o'clock now. Shall we get the news? I think so.
Thanks very much indeed. Good morning to you. The main stories this morning are why some of us might not get post in the future. A star-studded occasion is Elton John's Stag Night. And time is running out for a baby penguin pinched from a zoo. There are fears this morning that postal deliveries for some of us could become a thing of the past. That's because in just over a week's time, the Royal Mail will face competition and might not be able to afford to run the full service it does now. Rachel Harrison's at the Mount Pleasant sorting office in London. Morning, Rachel.
Yes, good morning. Well, it's officially the last day you can post a first-class letter, and while the Royal Mail struggles to cope with one of the busiest times of the year in the new year, it may also be struggling to survive. Postcom, the office watchdog, has stripped the Royal Mail of its 350-year monopoly, and from January the 1st, it will open up the market to other licensed operators. It says it will improve the state of the nation's postal service as well as improve reliability, but not everyone agrees. A group of senior MPs believe that we could see a 20% increase in the price of a stamp and state that the Royal Mail may not in the future be able to afford to deliver to every single address in the country because it's simply just not affordable. Now, it comes at a really bad time for the Royal Mail. They've already had to put up the price of a stamp. They're struggling to cope with a £4 billion deficit in pensions, but it's not all bad news because Postwatch say the MP's claims are unfounded. They say that the Royal Mail has coped with competition in the past and it will cope in the future.
Rachel, thanks very much indeed. Many more people could be charged with manslaughter instead of murder under new proposals being put forward today. It's the first review of murder laws for more than 50 years. The Law Commission is thinking of bringing in an American-style system with different levels, such as Murder 1 and Murder 2. At least 19 people were killed when a seaplane crashed off the coast of Miami in Florida last night. Witnesses report seeing an explosion before the aircraft carrying 20 passengers and crew plunged into the sea close to Miami Beach. Private boats and jet skis helped rescuers recover bodies from the water. Investigations into the cause of the accident are continuing. The baby son of the former EastEnders star Elaine Lorden has died. James Manuel was one. His parents married just a few days ago. A spokesman for Elaine said James's death was totally unexpected. He had been born with a defective diaphragm which stopped his lungs properly developing. His parents are said to be distraught. Well, there is good news for the new Conservative Party leader, David Cameron, this morning. For the first time in more than a decade, one polling organisation has put his party ahead of Labour. The ICM poll, published in the Guardian newspaper, puts the Conservatives at 38%, Labour at 37%, and the Liberal Democrats 21%. The Great Mars mystery has been solved. Scientists say they've spotted bits of the missing British probe Beagle 2, which disappeared 2 years ago. The £50 million craft was launched by the European Space Agency amid huge publicity. Pictures from a NASA spaceship show wreckage of the Beetle scattered inside a small crater on the red planet. Now, one of the biggest stag do's of the year was held in London last night. So Elton John and his partner, David Furnish, tie the knot tomorrow. But first, they had a massive party to host. This report by Kate Recordon contains flash photography.
If you want a glitzy occasion, you can guarantee these two will provide it. And their friends were there to make sure Elton John and David Furnish would celebrate their joint stag night in style. Gary Barlow sang them Relight My Fire. Janet Street Porter was expected to sing them a duet alongside Paul O'Grady.
I'm comparing.
Are you excited?
I'm the host on the Cock and Hen.
What are you going to be saying tonight?
Oh, what you normally say Space at Cock and Hens. You're looking backwards. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good night. You're walking backwards.
Even Bill Clinton sent them a videoed congratulations message.
It's all fantastic.
The couple will tie the knot tomorrow in what will be one of England's first civil partnerships. So this had all the makings of a very successful stag do. A room full of your friends, champagne flowing and a cracking cabaret. Kate Recordon, GMTV News.
Now, 5 days before Christmas, the news we've all been waiting for. Chocolate is good for you. Scientists say a few chunks of dark chocolate every day are good for your arteries and may help to prevent heart disease. The boffins recommend a small daily treat, not an entire selection box, of course, rather sadly. And finally, a baby penguin's been pinched from a zoo on the Isle of Wight. It's no laughing matter, though, because unless Toga's reunited with his parents, he could starve to death. Nick Dixon reports.
A pint-sized penguin has vanished without a trace. Toga's family have been watching out for him since he was taken from the Amazon World Zoo on Saturday night.
unfortunately, he's still being fed by his parents. So it's very, very important that we get him back as soon as possible. He won't survive, and he won't allow anybody to actually feed him.
Toga is the first jackass penguin to be bred at the zoo. He's 4 months old, about 12 inches tall, weighs just 10 pounds and still has his baby brown and white colouring. Staff at the zoo are begging the thieves to bring him home, as without his mum and dad to look after him, he might not make it till Christmas.
The time now is 6 minutes past 8. That's it for me. Here's Fiona and Andrew.
Thank you very much indeed. Just about that chocolate thing. Sophia went to do some cooking with chocolate the other day. That dark stuff, cooking chocolate.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
It's gorgeous. Were
Yes.
you licking the bowl all the time, running the
I didn't even melt it. I
fingers
just ate it. I ate the whole thing. It's 76% cocoa in it. That's the
Nice.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Love that.
Right, I just want to show everyone,
yes,
first of
do.
all, because it's in all the newspapers this morning, the latest portrait of the Queen, our latest official portrait, painted by no other than Rolf Harris. It's causing a bit of controversy this morning because a lot of artists in the know are saying that an artist should never attempt to do the smile thing, the teeth and the mouth, and that they should do someone with a rather enigmatic sort of
Really?
Mona Lisa type thing.
He was very proud of the hands.
The hands are,
Mr.
yeah, the
Harris
hands
was
are.
saying. I know.
He said he had problems with the teeth, but she does that, doesn't she? She often does that thing where she puts her teeth out on over her
It's
bottom
very
lip.
friendly of her, isn't it? It
Yeah,
just
it's
doesn't
lovely.
make her look stern at all. It's very nice.
Well done, Rolf. He's very talented, isn't he?
Yeah. Singing Snowman.
Oh, God, from the Queen to the singing snowman.
$11.99. You go into B&Q and get yourself a screwdriver, you end up with one of these. But here we go. Let's see what the singing snowman comes up with.
Oh,
He's got a very old voice for his age.
he's pleasant. Doesn't really do much, does he? He's had plastic surgery on his nose because it's all upturned.
He's trying to sing.
Look at his nose. Well, I'm slightly underwhelmed. He's very cute,
Thank
isn't he?
you.
But
Very
bye-bye.
much.
Let's find out what's happening where you are.
Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News from ITV Granada. People in the poorest parts of the northwest have a life expectancy 10% lower than the national average, according to new figures. The Wealth Means Health study compared the health of residents in the top 20% against those in the bottom 20. It looked at conditions from mental illness to diabetes. The report found that people from poor areas are 3 times more likely to suffer from mental health problems and twice as likely to suffer heart attacks. Detectives have released a photo of the mother of a toddler who's thought to have taken the youngster from her foster parents. Police believe 21-year-old Rebecca Bushell picked up her 2-year-old daughter, Cora Boyd, from the Stonehouse Resource Centre in Lee last Friday. They were later spotted in the Abram area of Wigan, 5 miles away. Detectives are appealing for Rebecca to get in touch. A man's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a man was found with stab wounds on Merseyside. Police were called to a house on Kersey Road in Kirby last night, where they found the man. He died later in hospital. Now, with the festive season in full swing and Hogmanay just around the corner, many of you will be stocking up with your favourite Scottish tipple. And as any connoisseur will tell you, there's no Scotch like that distilled north of the border. But as Phil Gornall reports, that may be about to change.
Though the idea may make many a Scotsman shudder, Staveley near Kendal may soon be the new home of the amber fluid. A new distillery in the village is the brainchild of Scottish entrepreneur Andrew Curry. He launched his first distillery north of the border 10 years ago. Now he's determined to try his hand in the Lake District, the River Kent, its unique attraction.
It is the water. This is England's fastest flowing river. 2 years ago I was tasting water in a hotel, spring source, and I thought this is fantastic water. So I looked around and I saw the mountains. I realised very similar geography to Scotland, to the Isle of Arran where I was based at that time. We had the water analysed. It's precisely the right pH value to make great whisky, and this is water that deserves to be turned into England's first malt whisky.
If everything goes according to plan, the first bottles of Lakeland single malt will hit the market in 5 years' time.
That's it for now. Our next bulletin's at 1:10. Time now for a look at the region's weather.
Pantene Pro V Winter Rescue. Forecasting a great hair day, whatever the weather.
A cloudy start with some sunny spells, becoming increasingly overcast later, but it should stay dry all day. Top temperature today of 7 Celsius, so a little colder than yesterday.
Forgotten something, Rudolph? Christmas on GMTV with Tesco.
11 minutes past 8, and that means it's time for our Caring at Christmas series. That means that all this week, our little Christmas fairy, Andrea McLean, is flying around the country dispensing festive cheer to those whose Christmas, well, needs a bit of a boost. And this morning she's serving up a very special Christmas breakfast, and she's about to tell us where she is, aren't you, Andrea?
Hello there, good morning, Fiona. I'm in Leicester this morning. I have to say, getting a right load of trouble from the residents here. I'm at George Hythe residential home in Leicester this morning, and already it's full of festive cheer. Now, the reason that we're here, of course, is many of you may not know that over 1 million elderly people during the month of December might not speak to a single soul, not only through the hours of Christmas Day, Boxing Day, but right the way through December. So that's why we've come here, just to show you the other side of Christmas for the elderly, because let's just say there's no lacking of Christmas cheer here. Now, I'm joined now by Jeanette Ewens. Now, you're the manager here at the care home, aren't you? Now, we've been having a right giggle here this morning. Tell me what you're doing to make Christmas special for the residents.
Christmas, we do the same every year. They go out Christmas shopping, they choose their own presents for the family. We've got lots of concerts. The children from the local community has been coming to do the carols. And on Christmas Day, we're down here for breakfast, where all the residents are.
And their families can come and visit?
Yeah, they can come and visit, and the staff join them as well. So the staff who's working at Christmas, we try to make it a really nice time for everybody.
So it's a big family affair, even if some members of family don't come to visit?
It is.
OK, now come and join me here. I've picked up. I've only been here a couple of hours and I've pulled already. Now, this is Bob and George. Morning, boys. Morning. Now, George, I'll talk to you first of all. What are you going to be doing for Christmas?
Well, just stopping here and enjoying myself. We always have a nice time.
And now I hear you're a bit fond of popping to the pub. Are you going to be popping to the pub on Christmas Day?
Well, I don't think so.
Not this year.
Not unless I'm on a big piece of string.
Now, Bob, what are your plans for Christmas?
My daughter lives just down the road. She come fetch me, and I'll spend the day with her and my granddaughters and the family.
Okay.
For the day.
Now, you've been here for 2 years now, haven't you?
Years, yeah.
And there's a lovely atmosphere here this morning.
Lovely, great.
And are you looking forward to Christmas?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, is there anybody you wanted to say hello to?
I'd like to say hello to my daughter in Hook, Hampshire, and Celia in Leicester. Can I give her a wave?
Of course you can. You can give her a wave. All right, boys. Thank you for chatting with me this morning. Now, as you say, there's 41 residents here, so it's quite a full home. Does everybody want to give us a wave? Here we go. Now, there's one lady as well. All the staff are getting involved this morning. There's another lady that I want to say hello to. She's been causing me problems all morning. Hi, Margaret.
You mean me?
I do mean you.
Oh.
Now, you've been trying to chat up our cameraman all morning.
Oh, ain't he lovely?
He's all right. He's all right, is our Jeff. Are you looking forward to Christmas, Margaret?
No, I don't like Christmas anymore.
Why is that?
I liked it when the children were small and when my husband was alive. He made Christmas.
But what about here? You're not looking forward to spending it with all your friends here?
No. No, we're all old, you see. And we can't do the okey-coking, the Congo and things like that.
Margaret, you're not fooling me for a second. I've seen what you've been getting up to this morning.
Nothing, only sitting in this chair.
Don't you believe it. Now, as you can say, Margaret's having a bit of a laugh with you here because, honestly, the Christmas cheer has already started. You've got a week to go. I don't know how they can keep the pace up, but do you all want to wave to your friends and family back home? Give a wave to Jeff there.
Who is Jeff?
Jeff's the handsome man you've been chatting up all morning.
Oh, are ya?
Back to you in the studio, Fiona.
Oh, so lovely.
You're going away with me.
Oh, if you ask him nicely, he will.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, that's a black eye for you.
Oh, mercy, Margaret, that's
She's
the way.
brilliant, isn't she?
Yeah, that's it.
And you know, in those residential homes, the staff work so hard to make sure that it is a Merry Christmas of sorts, and they're not paid very much. They're paid minimum wage, a lot of them, and the job they do.
Moorhaven. Can I say
Amazing.
good morning to Moorhaven, which is an old people's home in Taunton. It's a local authority run. My mum worked worked there.
Oh, did
and
she?
then almost immediately became a resident in several of them. She moved around a little bit. So everyone in Moorhaven this morning, very good morning to you. Enjoy your breakfast. Thinking about
and
you.
at Fairfield in Johnston in Pembrokeshire as well. Morning to you. Anyway, while we're on this subject, you could bring some Christmas cheer to someone who, well, especially an elderly neighbour actually this Christmas. No, there he is. There's the elderly neighbour.
Yeah.
At least we didn't run King Kong over him.
His knees are a bit elderly.
What
That's
was
the only
that?
difference
Sorry
out
about that, Dazza. We were just about to tell people that you can help an elderly neighbour at Christmas. Find all the details on our website. But the Dazza is here. He can do the hokey cokey. He can do the conga. You should be entertaining at that.
I should. You never know.
Personal appearance from
Could be a job.
It'll be a job. You've got some bowling to do after all this dancing around.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you in a minute. You're all right. You're a bit hungover, are you?
Just a little bit, not too bad.
Yeah, it was the Strictly Come Dancing rap party last night. More on that later. But first of all, here's a message from one of our boys in Basra.
I'm Aaron Shepherd from Kendal. I'd just like to wish my girlfriend Catherine Ellis and my family a happy Christmas.
Darren's here. We'll have a little chat in just a moment. The champion himself has shimmied his way into the studio. But first, we're going to have a word with Shirley Harrison. She was on the way to work this morning.
Oh, yeah.
But we stopped her. We pulled her out of the car and said, you've won £10,000.
Looking for a lady called Shirley. Are you Shirley? Oh, my gosh! Fantastic! Come round here. That's the lady. Where are you going?
Really, Keith, I'm going to work.
You can't go to work. You know why?
Yeah.
Go on, tell me.
I want 10,000.
You certainly have.
Oh, what? Well, in the middle of a busy main road, they haven't got run over, as we can see there. How's Shirley now, Keith?
Oh, I can't tell you, she's fantastic. And look, all the neighbours have joined us as well. Hey! You're only after her money, I know. How you doing, Shirley? You're ecstatic, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Tell everybody who's been calling you.
Oh, my mum, my Auntie Joyce from Bicester, my workmates.
Oh, great.
Everybody's been there.
And you told me it's come at a very good time.
Yes, it has.
Good news. So what are you going to spend the money on?
Well, I think the grandkids are going to get a trip to Toys R Us.
Oh, really? You don't care, dear.
No.
OK, we're going to sing a Christmas number for you with the street. It's Sleigh Bells Ring after 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight. Walking in the winter wonderland. On your own. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is the bluebird. He sings a love song. Fantastic. OK, she's won £10,000. You can win £10,000. I could be knocking on your door tomorrow. Here come the details. You're a £10,000 winner.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh. We've got £10,000 for you to win every day this week in time for Christmas, to spend on whatever you like. So here's the question you need to answer. 10,000 quid, she's a winner. St. Stephen's Day, December the 26th, is better known as A, Boxing Day, B, New Year's Eve, or C, Valentine's Day.
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Lines are open till 9 o'clock this morning, so good luck and get dialing. Hey!
OK, thanks ever so much. All the best
There's
to
your
Shirley.
check.
Happy Christmas to all. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
And you know what?
She was going to work when he stopped her. She must be about an hour late by now.
She'll be a bit late now. Do you know what Darren just said? He just said they'll look back at that and they'll be really embarrassed. Well, not embarrassed later on, but they'll be amazed at what they did. You know, you can talk.
Exactly. I'm exactly the same boat, yeah.
But going back now, when the invitation came through and it said dance, prime time, ballroom dancing, Paso Doble, all of it, what on earth did you think at the time?
Well, firstly, I think is that people think I'd pulled out of going to Pakistan to do it, and that's when I said no at first. But
cricket tour.
Yeah, the cricket tour. But once I did, you don't realise what you're actually getting into, and then suddenly the first week's there, and I remember seeing Fiona at the studio and thinking, I can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah.
But it's just gone out. I can't explain to you how much I've actually enjoyed doing it. It's been brilliant.
The Darren Gough Dancing School is going to start up in Barnsley. I've been reading all about it.
Yeah.
It was an idea.
It was a joke in week 4, but I said if I win it, I said I'll open a dance school in Barnsley, and then it's just escalated. And obviously I'll look into it. Yeah, I've already chatted to a few people about it, and if it's a possibility.
But you know what? A lot of people don't realise the therapeutic value of dance either, do they? Because you had really dodgy knees when you started, didn't you?
Still has.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're ever going to get 100% better.
But it strengthened it, didn't it?
Yeah, I've gone and I've no cartilage in my right knee, so the dancing always, this part of my quad's always been weak, but the dancing, obviously, over 12 weeks now.
Yeah, you've had a lot of surgery, haven't you, on the knees?
Yeah, 4 or 5 ops on that right knee and 2 on my left, but it's been amazing the strength I've got back in this leg now. I'm really looking forward to getting back to playing some cricket.
See, it's the new man thing. I mean, this is like Britain's newest man.
Well, I tell you what, you've got a treat coming up on Christmas Eve, because you should see him in the Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special, which was recorded last night. We can't say who won or anything, but...
Are you on form?
Yeah, I saved my best till last.
You know when you dropped Lilia the other day, when you... Yeah, we were a bit nervous at home. We were on the sofa going, oh, you know, don't end like this. Because she's not going to bounce very well.
Well, it was the one dance I've always been scared of all week in the farm, because it's a disco dance, and that's the one thing most men are scared of doing, believe it or not. And it was frightening for me all week, having to think I'm going to have to do that. But the drop, having the lifts in it helped me, but I only dropped it 3 times in practice. But only one bad drop, but on the night everything worked nice.
Because you had to get your hand around and over, and I saw you fiddling around with it going, right, now we can do it. That was a huge moment.
Yeah, I mean, like Lilia said, I mean, there's not many the dancers actually do that lift, because you have to obviously be the right strength to do it. So she would just play. People said, how did she trust me to do it? But she said I was strong enough to do it, so she just trusted me.
Do you know, though, I can remember you coming off, when, you know, we had our rehearsal day on a Friday, which I hated, because they all used to do their routines, and then I sort of stagger onto the dance floor and get everything wrong. And you used to come off the dance floor there and say, that is harder than a game of cricket.
Oh, yeah, mentally, it's been the hardest. And every Saturday, well, Friday when you go to the rehearsal.
How many wickets have you taken in Test? I mean, Darren, really, you know, one of the finest cricketers Britain's ever produced, and yet, you know, we don't know you for that.
That's the amazing thing. I've nearly got 500 wickets for England. Nolly and Botham's done that, and people now stop me for dancing and not cricket.
But are you going to go, because you're still with Essex, aren't you, at county level?
I've still got a year left, yeah.
And what about, are you still going to compete in one days for England, do you think?
Well, that's not up to me. I mean, obviously...
Would you like to?
Of course I would, yeah. I mean, I've got 2 children, and I decided I wasn't going to go to Pakistan. He's 11. I've only been home for 1 birthday. He's 11 years old, and I decided to stay home for the first part. But it's up to them. There's some good young cricketers out there, and I wish them all the best, but I'd like to still play, yeah.
Happy Christmas, Darren. Great entertainment. Tremendous, man.
Thank you very much.
It's so lovely to see you. We had a brilliant time, didn't we? It was just like a big family there.
Accent like that shouldn't be playing for Essex, you know.
I know. Well, I'm a Yorkshireman, I always will be, but like I say, family things happen, don't they?
Of course they do. Darren, well done, mate. Well done. Christmas
right, Callum Best is talking to Lorraine in the next half hour. It's his first interview since the death of his father, George. But before that, Scarlet Johansson talking to us as well. Andrew met her yesterday, didn't you?
And, yeah, was very, very impressed. So we'll have a chat with her. But first, another message from one of our soldiers in Basra. They've all got messages for loved ones back home.
Hi, I'm SAC James Paget. I'm from RAF Benson. I live in Eberville, South Wales. I'd just like to say Happy Christmas and New Year to my mum, dad, my nan and gran. Hope you have a good Christmas, New Year. Hopefully see you soon.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Topps Tiles, brightening homes, whatever the weather.
Hello, good morning. A chilly start in the south with some mist and fog only slowly clearing. Further west, we're seeing more in the way of cloud with some rain, some persistent rain later on across northwestern areas of Scotland. And in the east, that's the best chance of seeing some sunshine through this morning. Little change through this afternoon, a hint of sunshine from time to time. Turning quite windy in the northwest and temperatures here up to around 10 Celsius. Further south, well, it's a bit chilly outside, about 6 or even 7. 7 is 43. What's happening over the next few days? Well, we've got a band of cloud and rain gradually sinks its way southwards with some brighter weather to come, but then it remains quite windy with more rain on Thursday into Friday, turning brighter in the north, cloudy in the south, and then for Christmas Day, well, sadly, no snow, rather cloudy, but mostly dry. Now it's over to Fiona.
Thank you very much. We were just nattering away, actually, because Andrew was out and about yesterday meeting Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, gallivanting in a very posh hotel in London. She's just had another Golden Globe nomination. Anyway, she's very nice. Here we are, Scarlett Johansson.
So you are aware of your effect on men?
I think I'd be something very special.
And are you?
No one's ever asked for their money back.
Well, Scarlett, firstly, I love the film, so thank you very, very much. Were you pleased with the final result yourself?
I was, yeah, I really was. It's hard when you work with Woody because you don't know, you know, when you're shooting, he doesn't use a monitor and he doesn't have video playback and all those wonderful, helpful
yeah.
things for any kind of, you know, paranoid actor. But so you just never know what even your character looks like or how the film looks.
Oh my God, it's huge. We're going to get lost in here.
This is a brilliantly observed film about the upper classes in Britain. How much did you and Woody know about the upper classes?
I'm from Manhattan, and you know, the script was originally written for New York, and I think the class system is quite comparable, actually. I mean, whether it's someone living in Kensington, having a house in the country, or in New York, somebody on the Upper East Side with a house in the Hamptons, it's sort of the same kind of bubble that this upper class society lives in.
Scarlett, you're a city girl, that's clear, but would you ever live in the countryside?
I don't know if I could live there permanently now. It's nice for a weekend, but I need that crazy kinetic energy of a city like London. I think I would feel just scared to go to the kitchen by myself at night, even though it's totally empty and desolate, and probably the only thing you'll find is somebody trying to sell you, you know, cheese or something. I don't know, maybe that's not true.
It does happen.
I think it's scary to be out there and, you know, there's nature, you're surrounded by nature.
And what about filming in London, filming in the United Kingdom? I mean, is it easier for you to be here? Do you get hassled like you do in the States?
I live pretty easily in either London or New York.
So you don't have to hide under a big stupid hat or anything like that here?
A hat helps, actually. It really will make the day go a little bit easier, just to be, you know, not to kind of be like, here I am.
Yeah.
It really is me. It doesn't just look like me.
It's not a lifestyle anyone would actually choose, is it?
There's wonderful things about being successful. I mean, I'm not complaining, you know,
No.
but there's adjustments that you have to make to your life. I mean, I still ride the subway in New York, and I will still wait online for a cheeseburger like everybody else. I don't expect, you know, any kind of treatment. And at the same time, you know, you can't let that, you know, whole paparazzi thing control your life. I mean, then they've kind of got you.
Finally, with Jonathan, somebody of your own age to romp around with instead of middle-aged men.
I have a young, studly man in the film.
And didn't he do well?
Yes, it was, I have to say, people were saying, you know, that looked really rough, you must have been freezing in the rain and everything, you're making this crazy, passionate love scene. And I was like, yeah, but it's with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Next, it's going to be somebody with a social security kind of card. Yeah, that's...
65 plus only.
65 plus only may you know, you can inquire here. Apply, inquire here about job positions.
Okay, well, I'll have to wait.
Yeah.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you too.
And Scoop, no kidding. No kidding. Her and Keira Knightley. Anyway, what was saying?
What? No, don't even go there.
Scoop is another film she's filmed in London, and I think that was put in the can in the summer. She's brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you were happy. She seemed nice.
Very nice. I think they want us to go to Lorraine now.
I'm sure they do. So, well, we won't then. No, we will. Here's Lorraine.
hello there, good morning to you. Now, we have got more Christmas fun from the United States of America with a look at the, well, slightly over-the-top presents for junior New Yorkers. And we'll be finding out how Jim Carrey is getting into the Christmas spirit in Los Angeles. And star of Strictly Come Dancing, Will Thorpe, is here, back on his regular job at Casualty, set, though, to make a dramatic exit from that show this weekend. And if you're about to pick up your turkey in the next couple of days, we've got some really good tips from our celebrity chefs on roasting it to perfection. But if all the shopping and running around is getting a bit too much, we've got expert advice in hand to take the tension out of the festive season. Now, Christmas Day for many is still about putting in a hard day's work, though, so we decided to surprise firefighter Jenna Ford, her very own Santa. Today she's going to get a festive makeover. First, though, this is what happened when we turned up unexpectedly.
Yes, 'tis I, TV's Richard Arnold. Now, you may wonder why I'm dressed as Santa Claus. Well, yes, it is that time of year. But all this week on LK Today, we're going to be treating people who are actually going to be working on Christmas Day. And our victim, for want of a better expression, is the lovely Jenna. She's a 24-year-old firefighter in Chelmsford. Ready, boys?
I'm looking for Jenna. Jenna! Hello, love. Come here, darling. Happy Christmas, sweetheart. Now, are you familiar with Lorraine Kelly from GMTV? Yeah. Oh, yeah? A little bird tells me you're going to be working on Christmas Day. You're going to be this wet and cold on Christmas Day? Well, I can't get you the day off, sweetheart, but what I can give you is a makeover. How'd you fancy that? Get you out of all this clobber. We're going to make you look every inch the femme fatale. How'd you feel about that?
Speechless, and firefighter Jenna Ford, along with our makeover team, Mark Hayes, Trevor Sorby and Siona Johnson, join me now. Bit nervous, but that's okay, don't be. I can't believe you're nervous. The job that you do, one of the scariest, most demanding jobs in the world. And you're worried about getting a posh frock on.
It's not me.
I know, because you don't really get glammed up, do you? Not really. It's not very practical for what you do, but even when you're off duty. So both you and your boyfriend, you're both going to be working. He's a firefighter as well, isn't he? Yeah. Both working Christmas Day. Do you still get a bit of fun, though?
Yeah, it'll be a fairly normal day, but we'll try and make it a bit more fun with some board games or something.
A little bit of tinsel. Yeah. So, Mark, what are we going to do here?
A bit more than a little bit of tinsel here.
Right.
So, I mean, I have to say, I've got very good material to work with.
You have, great figure.
Have you seen the figure? So she looks beautiful anyway. I think I'm just going to go all like glamour, real kind of... I'm thinking a New Year's party. You've got a New Year's party to go to, so something really evening, something really gorgeous. Maybe some gold in there, I think.
Ooh, lovely. And Trev, what are we going to do with hair?
Well, you know, Jenna's a young lady, and I think a lot of people make a mistake by putting their hair up and it makes them look older. I want to keep Jenna looking young, so I'm going to... She's got one length hair at the moment, and I'm going to layer it through the front and just make it look young and modern and glamorous.
Fantastic. And you don't wear much makeup, do you? Even when you're off duty. Obviously on duty you don't, but when you're off duty you don't really wear very much. So Siona, a blank canvas, you can go crazy.
Yeah, she can let me do whatever I want, which
that's good.
Really, really nice. But I think also it's really important to remember if you are dressing up for the party season, you've got to do something special with your makeup as well. You can't just sort of do a natural day makeup.
Right.
So we'll see what Mark's going to dress her in, and then
and go for that.
I'll do a makeup to top the whole
You're
look.
in very safe hands. This is the A-team, and they'll sort you out, and we'll keep catching up with you. Just enjoy it.
Thank you.
It's lovely to see you. Thank you. Now, earlier on, Keith Chegwin surprised Shirley Harrison with £10,000. He's with her in Hartlepool, still celebrating. Hi there, Cheggers.
Hey. Oh, yeah, Lorraine, yeah, we are celebrating. And I didn't realise up until now, you enter the competition quite regularly, don't you?
Yes, I do.
How often then?
Every morning.
Every morning?
Got it set up on my text.
Oh, well, you try and get my clues, don't you?
I do. I beat Fiona every morning.
Yeah, she never gets it right.
No.
OK, well, you've got to go off to work, so I'm going to sing you off to work. OK, after 3. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride. Shelly's off to work today. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride. She's won £10,000 today. See you, Shelley. OK, you can be £10,000 richer too. Here come the details. See you, Shelley.
You're a £10,000 winner.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. We've got £10,000 for you to win every day this week in time for Christmas, to spend on whatever you like. So here's the question you need to answer. 10,000 quid, she's a winner! St Stephen's Day, December the 26th, is better known as A, Boxing Day, B, New Year's Eve, or C, Valentine's Day.
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
Lines are open till 9 o'clock this morning, so good luck and get dialing. Hey, fingers crossed. I'll be running up your path tomorrow. Shirley's gone, so she's left the front door open, actually. Let's go and raid the fridge. Who cares? See you tomorrow. Thank you. Right,
I love them. It's excellent. I hope she really enjoys spending all that money. We've got to take a very quick break now. Still to come, they're the kids in America. It's Christmas in New York, where everything is, of course, bigger. And over in Los Angeles, Pamela Anderson puts the sex appeal into Christmas. There she is. Wow. Gosh. We're celebrating Christmas Hollywood style with entertainment reporter Ross King. And here at home, what drives you mad at Christmas?
Crowds. Too many all at once. It's a great time of year, but it's very difficult to juggle home, work, family.
Yeah, I think we're all feeling a bit stressed. Life coach Dawn Breslin is here with tips on surviving the festive season. See you in a minute. Hello, welcome back. Still to come this morning, star of Strictly Come Dancing and Casualty, Will Thorpe is here. And we're looking at Christmas in America when we cross to New York and Los Angeles for the big festive build-up. Right now, though, Christmas is meant to be, of course, a joyful time of family celebration, but with so much to prepare in time for the big day, it can also be pretty stressful. We wanted to find out what was putting you under pressure in the final festive countdown.
Most stressful for me is keeping the life-work balance and trying to get all my shopping done in time.
Getting my husband to be in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time.
Finding what to buy other people, especially like boys.
Really stressful shopping with kids.
Spending your hard-earned savings, what you've earned all year.
In and out of shops with a buggy, with the crowds, trying to manoeuvre in and out of the counters and around displays and everything.
It's a long preparation for just only for one day, one main day.
But I've got a big family to shop for as well. It's just finding the time to do it.
Continuous spending, open wallet, surgery, etc.
Him arguing with my mum over food and money. What else? It's loads of things.
Loads of things. Life coach Dawn Breslin joins me now with her essential survival guide to a stress-free Christmas. I see that the chaps are worried about spending money.
Yeah,
the women are doing all the work.
Yeah, we're frenetic. We're running around mad. Well, the first thing that we recognised is a big issue right now is shopping for presents. Yeah. And my first tip is decide what you want to buy in advance. You know, sit down with an Argos catalogue, a Boots catalogue, something like that, and actually make your decision-making processes in the house.
That's a good idea.
You know, so that you can plan before you actually get out there. Now, something that happened to me the other day, I went out shopping, picked up presents, bought them, went into the next shop and saw something better. Yeah. And it's awful, and you start to beat yourself up and think, oh no, I should have done better. So I think when you're out there and you buy something, just decide to or say to yourself, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it done. Yep. My best is good enough. It's a present at the end of the day.
I know, it's crazy.
You know, it's not a competition.
No, exactly.
You know? The next one is use queue time constructively, because these horrid queues, you know, they're huge. What I was thinking about is, you know, stick on an iPod, put on some relaxing music as you're standing in the queue, or even while you're in the queue, start checking over your list and making sure that, you know, you're up to speed.
The queues are stressful as well, because everybody's jostling and wanting to pee.
Yeah, right. The next tip is money worries. So many people are worried about overspending, and it's so easy to do. Again, you go out there, you start to buy, you think, and then you see something nice. You think, well, I'll just buy that as well, and before you know it, it's adding up. So the first thing is make sure that you have a budget. You know, write down who it is you're shopping for, how much you're going to spend on them, and don't go over it.
Stick to it, absolutely.
Yeah, because January is going to be tough on the credit card if you don't do it. The next one is less is more. You know, you don't need to spend a fortune. Sometimes you can buy tiny little things, and sometimes it's the wrapping, you know.
Yeah, sure, or a picture in a frame or something that's very personal.
Absolutely.
You know, put a picture of your kids for their grandparents or something. It's quite nice.
So less is more. You don't have to
Don't go
spend
crazy.
a fortune. Yeah. get creative. Maybe make something, like you say, you know, the photo in the frame, or even, you know, burn a CD, a compilation CD.
It's a good one.
Make your little collage up. You know, it costs less.
It's good.
Right, tip number 3, finding time. Now, I think at this time, certainly for me, and you mentioned it as well, having time at this time of year
just goes away, doesn't it?
It's run away. Now, I was thinking, if you have a hangover, you know, you anticipate doing your shopping and you've got a hangover from the night before, anticipate it's going to take half the time.
Right.
Anticipate that if you're going to be going shopping, instead of it taking an hour to run through your shopping list and get round the supermarket, it may take 3.
Right.
So, I guess...
Don't drink and shop, folks.
Don't drink and shop.
Bad idea.
Yeah, so block out space in your diary. Work out now, from now to the end of the week. When are you going to do whatever it is that you've got to do? And stick to it. Don't just go for a drink after work.
Organisation is all.
Absolutely. Make a plan.
Right.
The next thing about finding space is prepare and do as much as you possibly can in advance. Now, I was thinking, if you're watching TV tonight or tomorrow night, wrap the presents while you're watching telly.
I did that because it was double Corrie last night, so I was doing it while I was watching Corrie.
OK, so instead of letting it all pile up towards the end of the week, just prepare as much as you can as you're going. Now, tip number 4 is prepare. This is to do with food, and I think people are really worrying about getting all the food ready on the day, on time. So the first thing that, I guess, first common sense trick is peel and cut the veg in advance, the night before you actually make the meal. Yeah, so get all of that preparation done. Make sure you've got the drinks in, maybe even the table decorations, get them all prepared as much as you can in advance. Avoid the supermarket, I think I mentioned that before, at peak times, because...
Oh, yes. You get overwhelmed, actually. It gets overwhelming.
24-hour shopping, you can go to the supermarket at a time when it's quiet, instead of going right in the middle of that peak time. Have a time plan. Now, when it comes to Christmas Day and you're heading for the cooker and you're thinking, how am I going to get all this stuff ready on time? Sit back and actually make a plan.
I do that. I do a time code.
What time everything's going to be done, and time code it. So vegetables go on at this time, meat goes on at this time.
Absolutely.
We sit down for food at this time, or, you know, invite everybody at this time, and follow that plan to a T.
You have to be organised, don't you?
So masses of planning.
And don't be a martyr. Don't you think a lot of women say, no, it's all right, I shall do everything.
Yeah.
Delegate. You know, if the in-laws are coming around, get them to bring the pudding or something. You know?
And I think the other thing is just about enjoying it.
Exactly.
You know?
After all that, have a nice time.
I know just now, you know, everything's crazy for me. You know, there's so much to do, and you forget to enjoy.
Exactly. Dawn, thank you. Sensible,
welcome.
Sound advice. Have a great Christmas.
And you. See you in the new year.
Beautiful daughter. Thank you very much indeed. Tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with the stress that relationships can bring at this time of year. Maybe you're dreading celebrating with the in-laws, or perhaps preparing for Christmas alone after separating with your partner. Whatever relationship nightmare you're worried about, do get in touch and tell us your story. On the website, gm.tv is how you can do it, and we'll give you some good advice tomorrow. Now, all week we're looking at the extravagance of Christmas in New York, and today our Cordelia is in New York's biggest toy shop, finding out what parents are buying for their little ones.
You may not be able to fit it in a stocking, but this giant keyboard is right at the top of the wish list of outsize, outpriced, outrageous presents you can get right here in New York City.
For £10,000, you too can play your Christmas carols by foot.
So what do you want for Christmas?
One of those big pink dolls.
One of these little things?
Those.
Oh, the big ones.
Yes, it's a jungle out there for parents. These little fellas cost £5,000 each. But even for Park Avenue's little princes, bigger's not always better.
I see my little brother really likes the Jack-in-the-Box.
So whether the kids want to surf the sidewalk, pogo in the park, figure out this funny soccer game, or just stare spellbound at boxes for hours, New York's toy stores have it all.
It's got to be every child's dream to wake up on Christmas morning in a toy shop like this one. Well, now they can. For just £10,000, your child and 15 of his best friends can sleep over. Now that's what I call a Christmas treat.
And if you're wondering where the old Christmas spirit comes into it all, meet Papa.
What do you want for Christmas?
I would like to have a Merry Christmas, that's all.
Just a Merry Christmas?
Fantastic. Now, there you are, over there. That's fantastic. That was New York. We're going to be looking at Los Angeles very, very shortly. Now, following the death of George Best last month, singer-songwriter Brian Kennedy is releasing a tribute song. Brian is here, beautiful choir.
Good morning.
And I'm dying to hear. This is my favourite musical instrument. It's fantastic, really good. Now, you sang this song at George's funeral, didn't you?
Indeed,
Which must have been a really difficult thing to do.
I think one of the hardest things I've ever done in my whole career. Yeah. You know, it was so moving. The whole, the whole ceremony was just so full of emotion. So I'm surprised I even got one note out. Never mind.
I'm amazed. It's a true professional that can do that. Now, You Raise Me Up obviously has been covered by many people.
Over 100 people so far.
But you did it first.
I did. I was the very first person to record it.
And it's a beautiful, inspirational song, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very uplifting. It's the kind of song, in the darkest of times, it just puts its arms around you and gives you a hug. That's the kind of song it is, I think.
No, you're absolutely right. All proceeds from this are going to the George Best charity, which has been set up for people with liver disease.
Indeed, and research into alcoholism also.
That's a really, really good idea, isn't it?
I mean, it's certainly, I think George would be very proud that that's, you know, the legacy, one of the legacies he was leaving behind was to look at the disease and find out why it happens so prevalently and find a cure, and also just, as you know yourself, oftentimes we don't have enough money to do these kind of things. So hopefully if people buy the single, it comes out on the 26th, Boxing Day. If you've got any money left after Christmas, it's a great cause and it's a beautiful song. And it's got a handsome picture of him on the cover.
It has indeed.
Yes.
It has indeed, in his heyday, at the height, at the height of his powers. Great to see you all. I'll let you get on with it, Brian. It's lovely to see you.
Great to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me, more than I can be. Your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly, but when I'm filled with wonder, some
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very, very much indeed. That was Brian Kennedy and You Raised Me Up, and it's out on Boxing Day. And all the proceeds are going to the George Best Foundation. That's the picture of George. There he is. And it's all in aid of the foundation to help people with liver disease and who are battling with alcoholism. Brian, thank you.
Thanks so
Have
much
a lovely
for having
Christmas.
us.
Thank
And
you very much indeed. Now, we want to tell you about another way to watch TV. This is very interesting. GMTV is the first major British TV programme to broadcast live on a mobile phone. 3 of the big mobile operators now offer GMTV. Look, there's Richard Arnold. Every morning, there's our Andrea on their new 3G services. Vodafone, Orange and the 3 network are all showing live pictures so that you can take us with you on your way to work, to college, or when you're commuting, you can watch the telly. Each phone operator has different costs and conditions which you can check on the website, gm.tv, or you can talk to your operator direct. These are the new 3G phones if you want to be seeing them. There they go. There they are. They're sort of slightly bigger. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, that's a kind of Star Trek one, isn't it? Well, I don't know how you open it. I'm not very good at technology. There it is. Lovely. You can see the screens are slightly bigger so that you can actually watch the telly on your mobile. Isn't technology a wonderful thing? So that's GMTV on your mobile phone. A broadcasting first. Very nice indeed. Now, you might just recognise the man we're about to talk to now. Of course you do. It's Ross King, once a fixture on this side of the Atlantic, but now doing incredibly well in Los Angeles. Ross, it is so lovely to talk to you.
It's lovely to talk. I was just thinking, I think the last time that we were together, you know, not that way. The last time we were together was at Hammersmith on the stage at Summer Holiday when I was doing that musical many years ago.
That's right. You've got a good memory. I'll tell you what. How did it end up that you ended up over there, being a huge success on American telly?
Well, it's very kind of you. It was just an absolute fluke. I mean, it's the daft boy from Knightswood in Glasgow goes to Hollywood in California. I came out here just on a bit of a whim, and I was lucky, and I picked up a couple of little movies right away, and I started to work. And then a bizarre thing where I actually entered a competition out here, which was for all different, TV hosts and weather forecasters out here. And I ended up becoming the weather guy on KTLA, which is like GMTV. It's the #1 station, and it was just a fluke. And then I won that competition. Then they suddenly offered me a nice contract and then said, would you like to be our entertainment anchor? And, you can still go off and do your movies and things like that. And that was it. So I've been on the red carpets and then interviewing another member of the King family, the slightly hairier version.
That is fantastic. What a great job. That's got to be one of the best jobs in the world. It's fantastic.
Well, you know what, I was thinking today, it doesn't get much better than this. A couple of hours ago, I was saying, good night, America. Now I'm saying good morning, United Kingdom, and then hearing one of my favourite singers, Brian Kennedy, there. It was just wonderful.
Song.
And then talking to my old pal.
Oh, it's great. Now, what about Christmas in LA compared to here? Obviously, you're not going to get a white Christmas, that's for sure. But what's it like over there?
Well, funnily enough, it is very, very festive. I know everyone thinks, well, it's going to be sunny and it won't really feel like Christmas, but it really does feel like Christmas here. And part of that is down to the fact that people spend so much money making their Christmas lights bigger, better, and I think the word is tackier than a lot of other places. They really go to town. I mean, on the streets, Rodeo Drive, one of the most famous shopping streets in the world, obviously beautiful decorations, but then people do their homes. And they do their homes like this, Lorraine. Now, can you imagine if one bulb goes out? Can you imagine going around going, I can't find it. It must be right here somewhere. Check that one. Check the 15th one from the right. God, and can you imagine also when you get the electricity bill as well?
I know, for goodness sake. Now, the celebs obviously get into the Christmas spirit as well, don't they?
Oh, unbelievably so. I mean, it's such a big time here in LA, and everyone loves Christmas time. Jim Carrey, one of the most talented actors that I know, and a man that I just met last week. And when you meet someone that you've always wanted to meet, and sometimes it's a huge disappointment, this wasn't. He was just a lovely, lovely guy. But tonight he went just a little bit mad. He was on the David Letterman show, one of the big top chat shows out here, and realised that he wasn't properly dressed for Christmas. So, shot into the audience, took a woolly jumper off a man who looked even woollier with the jumper off him. Has that man never heard of chest waxing? And decided then he'd stick it on. Now, I don't know about you, Lorraine, but do you not remember, did we not get a sweater like this from your old auntie and had to wear it on Boxing Day to the pantomime?
Funnily enough, I did, and it was very, very, very similar. And you can only wear it on Christmas Day at no other time.
And it's jaggy.
I know. Now, another celebrity, though, might just have upstaged that jumper.
Oh, yeah. The woman who can absolutely upstage everyone like no one else can. Pamela Anderson, on the rival show, the Jay Leno show, she decided she'd bring her own costume, and what a costume it was. Now, Lorraine, you'll appreciate this moment, because I think I've seen Richard Branson turn you up a couple of times. There we are. Look, wait! Quick, pull the skirt down. Pull the skirt down. All the way across here. Suddenly makes another quick check. She'll check any moment now. Is it up at the back? Oh, yes, there it is. And sitting down very carefully.
Fantastic. Listen, you have the best Christmas, and will you have a good old traditional New Year as well?
I certainly will. You know, we Scots like to do Hogmanay just a little bit specially, so that's what I'm going to do. And I've got all my family coming out, so Mum and Dad are watching this morning in Knightswood, and my sister and her husband and Ewan and Holly are all watching too. So happy Christmas, and I'll see you here in just a few days.
Fantastic. Ross, you have a good one. Thank you very much. Lovely to talk to you. We'll talk to you real soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Lorraine.
Oh, isn't it great to talk to Ross? He's doing so well over there. Fantastic. Right, we've got to take a very quick break now. Stay with us, though, because we've got Mr. Saturday Night TV, Will Thorpe, star of both Strictly Come Dancing and Casualty. And if you want to be a goddess in the kitchen this Christmas, our celebrity chefs have some top tips on wowing your guests with a perfect Christmas lunch. Hello, welcome back. Lots still to come this morning. Our makeover team have been busy transforming firefighter Jenna into a New Year's Eve belle of the ball. We'll see the results at the end of the programme. She's so shy. It's so funny, she's so shy. First, though, with only 5 days left until Christmas, I'm sure you'll be thinking about what you're going to be cooking for Christmas dinner. If you're still looking for some ideas, we've asked some of Britain's top chefs for their tips.
Now, a delicious turkey is the centre of everyone's Christmas dinner, but not everyone knows how to pick the right size. My top tip is to allow 1 pound or 500 grams per person. But whatever size you pick, make sure it's going to fit comfortably into your oven.
So once you've got your perfect turkey, I've got the perfect tip on how to prepare it. Some soft, unsalted butter, some fresh sage, some sliced dried apricots. This adds loads of flavour. Pack it on your turkey and finish it off with sliced pancetta.
I have a very, very good tip for roast potatoes. Boil them first a little bit, then we'll coat them with semolina flour, which will give them that lovely crisp feeling when it comes out of the oven. Olive oil, garlic and rosemary in the oven.
Well, I've got another great tip for roast potatoes too. Start off by blanching your roast potatoes, dry them out straight into hot goose fat, little salt, little pepper, and finally we're going to sprinkle over a little powdered stock cube all over the top, and this will just glaze and caramelise.
Now here's a great tip on what to do with your carrots this year. Whole peel carrots, garlic, some fresh thyme on the top, a drizzle of olive oil, and the trick is straight into the oven to roast. And after 30 minutes, fantastic.
Chipolata of pork sausages. Now, the main tip here is to give it a little bit of boiling on a boiling water for about 2 minutes so they cook inside. Wrap them with lovely pancetta or bacon, throw them in the last 5 minutes into your roast, and they'll be moist inside and fantastically crispy on the outside.
So one of the biggest headaches when cooking Christmas dinner is getting your timings right. So a really handy tip is get all your vegetables blanched off first, refreshed and chilled, and when you need them, just get them in the pan with a knob of butter, a little salt, little pepper, bring them up to heat, and then straight out onto the plate.
And finally, if flaming your Christmas pudding is a bit of a flop, here's my top tip. The trick is to warm the brandy or the rum in the pan and make sure the plate's nice and hot too.
My favourite. You can find all of those chefs' top tips on the website gm.tv. Now, we saw him strutting his stuff in Strictly Come Dancing. Will Thorpe is here to talk about that hit show and his shock exit in Casualty. There's a Christmas special this weekend of Casualty. Great to see you.
Thanks for having
Now,
me.
you've still got your little band on because you were at a big party last night, weren't you? The Strictly
wrap party of Strictly Come Dancing. I've been trying to get it off.
You
It's
can't
kind
get
of
this off. You've got
stuck
to
on me
cut them.
forever.
It's like a kind of hospital thing.
Exactly. Feel a bit like that after the party.
I know. What a great show that was.
It was brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I was so pleased to have been a part of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those
And you
things.
loved it. You got right into it, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. It was really kind of
good.
Yeah, it was great. It was really exciting. So pleased that Darren won.
Me too. I think he did really well.
Yeah.
He really did. It just shows you blokes can dance.
They certainly can.
Blokes can go for it. Big blokes can do it. So that was the kind of show busy aspect of your life, but also running alongside of that, as well as you're doing all that training, you're obviously rehearsing for Casualty, because big giant storyline this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. Big two-parter crossover with Casualty and Holby City
they're
together.
doing that again. I like that. That's good.
And yeah, last year it was good. It had great ratings and worked really well. And they've kind of, this year, I think they've got like a winning formula for it, and it works really well. There's a nice big budget on it, lots of stunts, and a big dramatic ending for Woody.
Poor little Woody.
I know.
We don't want to give too much away.
No.
But because we know that you're going, suffice to say it might not be that good news for him.
Might
we
be
just say that's all we'll say.
Yeah.
Because we really don't want to do that. But shall we have a sneaky preview?
Let's have a look.
That is scary stuff. See, he's been a true hero. He's saving the life of that little baby, or trying to.
Yeah, he does. He does by the end of it, yeah. He does put himself in a lot of
Will
danger.
you watch on Saturday night? Will you be able to watch that when you see something awful happening to your character?
Yeah, I think I quite like watching it.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be, I think it's my family that would just be in all sorts of trouble watching it, in tears, I think, watching me.
I know.
But yeah, it'd be good. I've had a great time on Casualty.
How long have you been there?
Just about a year and a half.
Is it really good? That's gone by fast, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it does. It goes by really fast. And I was really conscious. I want to I'm still young and I want to do so many things. I wanted to leave at a time when things are going really well, the writing's still good, and kind of keep it fresh and move on to something else.
Absolutely. Well, already you've got a BBC drama coming up, haven't you? You've got that, so that'd be good.
Small part in Stephen Polyakov's latest film.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I'm going to do a bit of theatre. I've been working in telly for a couple of years now, and worked solidly in theatre for 3 years when I left drama school, so I want to get back and do a bit of that now, and back on the stage.
I think that's a great idea, because a lot of actors say that it almost recharges your batteries. You have to use different parts of your brain, if you like, you know, to do that, because it's a different skill in a way.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, and it's very tempting. You can obviously, you know, telly's very high profile, and you want to keep that going, but but I you know, theatre for a lot of actors is really their first love, and it is certainly is for me. And I want to keep that going at the same time, and kind of keep intermittently doing work in theatre, because I love it.
Well, that's the great thing about doing the telly stuff, because although, you know, it's enjoyable and you love it, but it does give you that profile that you can say, oh, I'd quite like to do a bit of Shakespeare, I'd quite like to do whatever, you know, whatever's coming up, and stretch yourself a little bit more.
Definitely.
Oh, it's good. Well, look, we will be watching, and thank you for Strictly Come Dancing. It's absolutely great show.
Brilliant,
great
it was,
entertainment, really enjoyed it, and the party was good.
It was a good party,
I bet it
I need to
was.
sleep now.
I wonder who was last to leave.
I don't know. Darren Goff, I think.
Probably. I think he came straight from there to here.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you all. Thank you so
Thanks,
much, and
Henry
good luck.
Lorraine.
Come back and see us soon. Thank you. Now, Mark, Trevor and Fiona have been working their magic all morning to give firefighter Jenna a glamorous makeover ready for a New Year party. Now, this is what she looked like this morning. There she is in all her uniform. And here she is now. Here's Jenna. Here she is, the shyest woman I've ever met. The most nervous, shyest girl. You look absolutely stunning. Do you feel okay? Yeah. What have you been doing to her?
I've been really nice. I promise.
Beautiful outfit.
She's the shyest and the shiniest.
Yes.
That's what she is.
Very shy, very shiny.
We'll start off with a little jacket from Warehouse at the moment, in the sale, £22 for that one there.
Right.
We've got a beautiful kind of corset top from Oasis. I think it's gorgeous, isn't it? Really nice. £50 for that from Oasis. The skirt, which is just a real talking piece, from House of Fraser, £119 for that.
That'll last you a while.
Little bag from Debenhams, £14. And then your shoes, show off those sparkles, sweetheart. £40 from them. From
Lovely, lovely, gorgeous.
Beautiful jewellery as well from Marks and Spencer's.
Great hair, very
Thank you.
deceptively simple, if you know what I mean.
Yes, well, Jenna has to tie her hair back for her job, so I had to keep the length. So we did the main accent round the front, just laid it through, but it still looks like Jenna.
It's lovely. And great makeup. Really good,
thank
Fiona.
you. Even though you can only see one eye at the moment, but I have made it both eyes. I've just done this sort of, Trevor, smouldering sort of party season makeup for our eyes there.
Beautiful. How do you feel?
Very glamorous.
You feel good. You look really lovely, Jenna, honestly. You really, really do. No, it is different, but that's what we wanted to. You look gorgeous at the New Year party. You really will. And it's such a shame. She's got to work on Christmas Day. It's not fair. Her and her boyfriend.
Thank you.
So thank you very much indeed. really look lovely. You really, really do. And that's it for today. Join me tomorrow. Will Young is going to be here live in the studio, so we're all looking forward to that because he's gorgeous. See you then. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.